From Charm City, Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet. Houston Astros still sitting on 99 wins for the season as they get ready to face the Baltimore Orioles in Game 3 of 4 on this final road trip of the regular season. And the Astros have been pitched really tough by the Orioles, have yet to score a run here in Baltimore. Would like to turn that around, but they know about pitching tough. They got a guy named Framber Valdez, who's been pitching everyone tough all season long, and today he's back on the mound as he continues to set records, hoping today to tie a major league record for consecutive quality starts over multiple seasons. We saw him break that record last time out. Of course, he's just been doing what Framber does all season long, but getting a nice one last time out would put him over that mark at 25 is the single season record. So a huge accomplishment for him. Extremely happy to do it there in front of a home crowd and get the ovation from the crowd. Got all the support there. But his eyes set on doing it a couple of more times, that's for sure. The record over multiple seasons is 26. So if he can do it tonight, like I said, he can tie it. That's held by Jacob deGrom. Bob Gibson can tie it tonight with a chance to break it in that next start. We should see him at least once more, if not twice more. Dusty Baker asked about his starter again today, just like he is every day, saying this guy throws strikes. His ability to get that double play when he needs it is huge as well. But Framber just needs to be Framber, and the pressure has not gotten to him at this point, so they don't expect it to be any different tonight against the Orioles. For more on tonight's lefty, let's go up to the booth. Guys calling the game, Todd Callis, Jeff Blum, how we doing?
We're doing really well. Thank you so much, Julia. The Astros looking for a little offensive support for Framber Valdez. But, Blummer, when you talk about our best in Texas power pitcher driven by Ford, Framber not only good all year long, but especially on the road.
He's done a fantastic job on the road, and he's really become another ace. Yeah, the Astros could claim that they have 3 aces in their rotation, but Framber Valdez really took a hold on the road, doing a great job in some hostile environments. We knew early on that the Astros offense came out of the blocks a little bit slow, but it was great to see Justin Verlander pitching well on the road, Framber Valdez pitching well on the road, and allowing that offense to come back and pick these guys up. But what he has done throughout the course of the season is show his consistency and poise, especially on the road.
So that's the offense, top 3 that'll try and get things going against this Baltimore pitching staff, which has shut them down the first 2 games. AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Rooms to Go. Get fashion, style, and quality all at low prices on every item, every day. Here's a starting lineup tonight for the Houston Astros. Jose Altuve leading off, followed by Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez. Big numbers in this stadium. Alex Bregman hits 4th. Kyle Tucker in right field bats 5th. Yuli Gurriel at first base. Chas McCormick bats 7th in center. Mauricio Dubon in left. And Dusty Baker has Martin Maldonado catching and batting 9th. Ready to go on a Saturday night. Glad he could join us for this 3rd game of a 4-game series. Astros so far 3-2 on the road trip. Looking to score a run against this Baltimore pitching staff for the first time in this series. And Mike Baumann delivers a strike on that fastball, and we're underway. A little warmer than it was last night. Temperature closer to a little closer to 70 degrees. Last night it was 64 at game time. Altuve swings at the second pitch and sends one way up in the air to the right fielder Anthony Santander, who puts it away for the first out.
Started for today's game is Michael Baumann. You can see the numbers on the season. 4.29 is that ERA. Opponent's hitting .301 against him. This will only be his 2nd start of the season. He did have a start earlier in this season against Toronto. Went 5 innings and threw 78 pitches, but I would imagine if he gets in a little bit of trouble, it might turn into a bullpen day. And that bullpen for Brandon Hyde is pretty well rested after the first 2 games of this series.
They've only had to pick up 1 out so far in the first 2 games against the Astros. Felix Bautista closing out Thursday night's game. So Jeremy Pena will bat. Pena has been pitched tough by the Baltimore Orioles in general, including this series. He's 1 for 8 in this series. And on the year against the Orioles pitching staff, he's 1 for 16. Taking a pitch low for a ball, 1-1. Baumann getting the start tonight. He was originally not in the rotation for this series. Ground ball towards short. Jorge Mateo, very smooth fielder, makes the play on Pena. Baumann has a couple of quick outs here in the first inning.
StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud is going to show you some of the pitch usage for Baumann. Four-seam fastball 48.6% of the time, and then it'll get to that slider, the occasional curveball and changeup mixed in there. Let's see what the average is against that four-seamer. 400. Can reach into the low 100s with that fastball. Against left-handed hitters, you're going to see that fastball almost get up to 58% before he gets on that curveball. Again, that slider, a little bit of a wrinkle in there. Not many changeups to left-handed hitters. That fastball getting hit pretty hard on the left-handed side also. 353 is that average against.
First pitch to Yordan Alvarez, a breaking ball, called a ball. Ramon De Jesus, the home plate umpire. Yordan went 1 for 2 with a couple of walks last night. Not much offense for the Astros in general. Yordan was on base 3 times. Jose Altuve had a couple of hits. Chas McCormick had a hit, and that was it. Astros only had 3 baseballs hit at 95 miles an hour or better, which is considered a hard hit baseball. They only had 4 of those the night before. So not only have the Orioles limited the Astros to 6 hits and no runs over 2 games, there hasn't been a lot of hard hit outs either. Try and get it turned around tonight against this right-hander making a spot start in place of Tyler Wells, who was placed on the 15-day injured list with right shoulder inflammation. He was originally going to be the starter tonight. That count is 3-1 on Yordan. Career 1360 OPS in this stadium as he drills one down the right field line, but he hooks it foul. So the count goes full on the Astros designated hitter. Yordan was in left field the first 2 games of this series. But tonight getting a chance to DH. Just missing with the fastball inside. Tried to dot him up at 97. Could have gone either way. And it goes Yordan's way for a 2-out walk.
See on our MD Anderson strike zone, Chirinos wanted that pitch on the outside. It was pulled to the inside, and Chirinos really could stick that pitch and make it look better, as it looked like it clipped. Just that inside edge, maybe a little bit on our MD Anderson strike zone.
So now Alex Bregman will bat. Bregman trying to snap an 0 for 12 right now. He's 0 for 7 in this series and takes one down for ball 1. The Astros have scored a total of 4 runs in 5 games against the Baltimore Orioles this year. Only hit 1 home run in those 5 games. That belongs to Alex Bregman. Swings through that pitch. It's 1-1. Tapper foul off his front foot. The count goes to 1-2 on Bregman. Astros shut out in back-to-back games in this series. First time they've been shut out in back-to-back games since the final day of August and the first game of September last year.
Even though it's back-to-back shutouts, this Astros team this season has done a very good job of turning the page. They don't have a tendency to really dwell on some of those losses. They will learn from them. They'll watch the video, but they're not going to sit in their lockers and sulk about it. They're just going to pick things up, move on to the next day, and hopefully have a better day. But I think they're happy to have the Bradish-Kramer duo behind them.
Yes.
Those guys have been absolutely incredible against the Astros this season, even though the overall numbers, that bigger picture, really doesn't seem to be that way for those guys overall. But they're both having pretty good months of September. Doing good things down the stretch.
Bregman into center field. Mullins going back, eases up as he gets to the warning track, and he'll flip it into the crowd after making the catch. Astros fail to score in the first. One walk, one man left on base.
On the season, his record is beautiful at 16-5. He has a 2.57 ERA overall. Opponents hitting .213 against him. He has been phenomenal. He is looking to extend that quality start streak that he has going right now. Got a tough customer in these Baltimore Orioles, but the right man on the mound for the Astros to try and end this two-game skid.
Here's a lineup for the Orioles set out by Brandon Hyde tonight. He's got Cedric Mullins leading off once again. Ryan Mountcastle up to the 2 spot in the lineup. Anthony Santander in right field will hit third. Adley Rutschman will DH tonight. Rutschman, the cleanup hitter. Ramon Arias will be the third baseman. Austin Hayes in left. Rougned Odor at second base. Jorge Mateo is the shortstop, and Robinson Chirinos catches and bats ninth. Fromber, as has been his custom lately, wearing the navy tops. That's the uniform he's most comfortable with, road or home. As Cedric Mullins delivers low for ball one.
Yeah, they renamed that blue Fromber blue.
Fromber blue.
Yeah, the Azul. Fromber Azul.
Mullins takes one low for the ball. Cedric Mullins, 3-game hitting streak. Sends this one into center field on a line, and Chas McCormick puts it away for the first out. The Astros starting defense is presented by Xfinity. You saw Chas in center. Kyle Tucker's back in there after the off day last night. He's in right field. Mauricio Dubon is in left. A vast left field here in Baltimore. So Dubon will be the left fielder. Alex Bregman and Jeremy Pena, the left side of the infield. Jose Altuve and Yuli Gurriel on the right side of the infield. And Martin Maldonado, as usual, catching Fromber Valdez. I'll bring up Ryan Mountcastle hitting in the 2 spot for the Orioles for just the 11th time this year. A little bit of a late swing on the sinker as he fouls it away, 0-1. And he goes the other way with a little ground ball base hit in between first and second. Ryan Mountcastle with a single to right.
Check out Fromber's pitch usage on our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. It's going to show you what he brings to those right-handed hitters. It's going to be 50% almost on that fastball, and then he will obviously get to that curveball. The changeup will mix in there every once in a while, but primarily that fastball curveball mix. The fastball will be down. And on the left-handed side, it's going to be that 2-seamer, and really good pitch this season for him has been that cutter. Jumping on that at 39.2%, but the batting average against that pitch at .096. Been a nice little pitch to kind of stay off that barrel of left-handed hitters and get to that outside corner.
First couple of hitters here, well, at least the last two, Mountcastle and Santander, very late on the fastball, almost as if they're looking for a curveball to start the at-bat.
They could be. These two guys are pretty good on spin. Santander actually does a good job with fastballs down in the zone. Mountcastle not so much. He's really good against the slider. But Fromber, if you haven't faced him consistently, he'll sneak it in there in the mid to upper 90s. That 2-seamer run at 95 miles an hour is tough. Sometimes you'll see some of those late swings. But yeah, you're right, TK. They could be sitting back on that curveball possibly early.
A lot of guys haven't faced Fromber before. He's never started a game here in Baltimore. Only started one against the Orioles at Minute Maid Park 3 years ago. There's a ground ball through the hole into left field. So a couple of ground ball base hits here in the first inning for the Orioles. Mountcastle followed by Santander.
Santander got the curveball right here. Middle down. He does a good job of getting on top of it and hitting it hard enough to get it in between Pena and Bregman. So a couple of ground balls, typical for Fromber, but these finding empty space in the infield.
Framber will face Adley Rutschman. Rutschman tied his career high last night with 3 hits, went 3 for 3 with a walk in the Orioles' 6-0 victory. Young rookie catcher who's DHing tonight, batting cleanup for just the 7th time this year. His numbers overall have been better as a left-handed hitter, although last night he did double in a run as a right-hand hitter. Grounds this one towards the hole. It's going to be tough to turn 2. Altuve doesn't even make the throw. They get the force on Santander as Rutschman grounds it slowly to the left side of the infield for the 2nd out.
Another ground ball, not hit hard, and Payne had to move to his right, making sure they get that out at second base, keeps that 1st and 3rd situation out there, so you got a force at second.
Ramon Urias will bat. Urias was in the lineup last night, but a scratch due to spasms between his neck and his shoulder. Back in there today and missing the curveball 0-1. Urias, one of the Orioles players who has never faced Framber Valdez before. Framber having to work around a little traffic here in the 1st inning. Back to that breaking ball and gets ahead of Urias 0-2. Not sure if he has to deviate from that pitch after watching those first couple of swings.
Yeah, we always talk about how the swing can kind of dictate or adjust the at-bat. If you get a guy taking bad swings, stay with it.
That one didn't come out of the hand the way he wanted to. It's 1-2. Farmer makes his 29th start of the season, going for 26 consecutive quality starts. Already setting the single season mark, now trying to tie the overall major league mark over multiple seasons. And he gets him on that curveball for the final out of the inning. Framber picks up his first strikeout. A couple of hits, 2 left on. We head to the 2nd, scoreless.
Remember to follow along on Twitter. You'll find it. It's the pinned tweet. Which team would you least like to see against the Astros in an ALDS matchup? This Baltimore Orioles team, who's won 3 in a row. Seattle, Tampa Bay, who's won a couple after Houston swept them. And then the Toronto Blue Jays. They're scuffling right now. They've lost 3 in a row. We want to know who you don't want the Astros to face in that ALDS first round matchup. TK.
All right, Julia. Right now the Orioles trailing Seattle by 3. Mariners do win the tiebreak against the Orioles, and the Orioles are 4.5 behind both Tampa Bay and Toronto. Orioles finish the season with 3 against the Blue Jays. Kyle Tucker takes a fastball for a strike. Mike Baumann delivers a strike here to start the 2nd inning. Astros trying to solve a Baltimore starter. That has not happened the first 2 nights, and tomorrow's starter, Austin Voth, went 6 innings of 1-hit baseball against the Astros back at Minute Maid Park in August. Tucker towards right field and under the glove of Rougned Odor. It looked like Odor had him lined up for a backhand. It was going to be a tough play, but he didn't come up with it.
No, I completely agree with you. That was going to be a tough play. He kind of laid back. And we all know, watching the Astros over the years, Tucker can run a little bit. He saw where that ball was placed and where Rougned Odor was moving to, and he put his head down out of the box. It would have been a very tough play, even if Rougned picked that clean.
I'm going to give Tucker a hit on that.
I think that's the right call.
I agree. Yeah. Now Yuli Gurriel, Yuli trying to pick up his first hit of this road trip. He's 0 for 14 on this trip as he fouls one into the 2nd deck. Go
back and check out that ground ball. You can see Tucker realize with him moving, he picked it up a little bit. In our Mattress Firm Supermo, you can see that Rubnet just never got down to get that hop.
There goes Tucker, and a swing and a foul back to the screen. Tucker with 22 steals on the year. Only been caught 3 times. Astros facing Bauman, who's 26 years old, grew up in Minnesota and went to college at Jacksonville University. Drafted by the Orioles in the 2017 draft in the 3rd round. As Yuli gets just enough to stay alive, a piece of it to keep it out of the glove of Robinson Chirinos, the former Astro.
Scoreboard here says that Bauman is throwing that slider at 92. Everything I've seen is saying maybe a cutter on that pitch, but either way, that's pretty hefty velocity on a cutter, very similar to what we see from Hunter Brown. This is a pretty live arm from Michael Bauman on the mound, making a 2nd start of the season.
And you mentioned when he was warming up in the scouting report that he's probably limited in innings tonight, so he can let it eat a little more than if he has to go 5 or 6 innings.
Yeah, just looking past, I mean, he's thrown multiple innings out of the bullpen for Brandon Hyde, and that one start he had previously got up to 78 pitches. Would imagine it'd be much more than that if he had the opportunity to lengthen it out today.
Into center field, Cedric Mullins is there. Yuli lines out to center for the 1st out of the inning.
Here's a look at our Mr. Clean Magic stats. Lowest ERA versus Houston this season. There's the Bradish Kramer mix, 16 2/3 between them and only 1 run given up. This is a minimum of 2 starts. Johnny Cueto on there doing a good job this season. In a couple of starts, Tristan McKenzie did a great job. And Shohei Ohtani's on there, but they might rather face Shohei Ohtani than the first 2 guys on that list.
And it's crazy to think about. Bradish set his career high in innings back in Houston, and then he was followed up by Kramer setting his career high in innings pitched in Houston. And then they both topped that in their starts here against the Astros in Baltimore.
That's usually not how it goes. It's a credit to Bradish and Kramer for having the stuff and creating the game plan to attack the Astros. But what we've seen, this being the first time they were shut out back-to-back games, is that the Astros actually do a very good job of adjusting from start to start against some of these guys, but they have not been able to figure out that duo.
Chas McCormick, the batter. Chas had one of the 4 hits last night, went 1 for 3. He's 3 for 10 on this road trip. Tucker looks like he wants to run still. First pitch up and in, 1-0.
Have you been watching him? He actually has been leaning on a couple. Even the pickoff attempt, he was leaning a little bit.
I think 30-30 might be out of the question. He only has 10 games remaining and 22 stolen bases, but he could get to 30 and 25. 1 more home run, 3 more steals. There he goes. Pitch is wide. The throw's a good one, and they're going to say safe at second base. Odor couldn't get the tag down. Chirinos got rid of it in a hurry, but it was a little bit to the first base side, and Tucker in with his 23rd steal.
Yeah, you just kind of hope that Rougned Odor wasn't able to get that glove down to the body of Kyle Tucker, because that throw looked like it might have been on time, but just because it was so high, it was a long way for Odor to go up and get it and get back down. Our Mattress Firm Supermo. Wow. That close.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're not going to challenge, huh? Because there was no evidence that he actually got him. Tuck would have been out had the glove been down just an inch or 2 lower. So that's 23 steals for Tucker in 26 tries. He's only been caught by catchers twice this season. As Tucker and Odor talk about how close that play was. Tucker was caught stealing by Sean Murphy in the last homestand. He's going for another bag. Chirino's throw is in time, and they get Tucker this time. Went on a 3-0 pitch, and Tucker gunned down for just the 4th time this year.
Taking a chance. Seeing the Astros in this series try and take that extra base, unable to. Looked like he got a pretty good jump. It's just a great job by Chirinos to get over there and get that tag on Kyle.
The Astros have had 3 runners get to second base in this series. That's it. And all 3 runners have been thrown out at third base. Chas McCormick grounds out to end the inning. So a hit. Runner caught stealing, and Bauman faces the minimum here in the second.
This Friday when 10,000 fans take home a Yuli Gurriel jersey presented by Schlumberger. Represent La Pina as the Astros take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets today. TK.
All right, Julia, bottom of the second inning, scoreless. Framber Valdez allowing a couple of first inning hits and working around that. We'll face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here. Austin Hayes, Rougned Odor, and Jorge Mateo. Astros continue to be shut down by Orioles pitching. 20 scoreless innings so far in this series. Going to be joined by the Astros general manager James Click in the broadcast booth in the 4th inning. As the Astros have this game plus 9 more remaining in the season. 1-1 to count to Austin Hayes. He started last night in the left field, went 1 for 4. He has reached in 9 consecutive games for the Orioles, hitting .310 during that stretch. Takes a pitch down, 2-1. He's played in a career high 134 games this year for the Orioles. Baltimore's already won the season series in the head-to-head matchup against the Houston Astros. They have won 4 of the first 5 games with 2 to go. This one slowly hit. Framber will pick it up and have no throw. We've seen that movie before. A little tapper against Framber Valdez for an infield hit.
Yeah, to his credit, he's able to create soft contact, and sometimes that can backfire a little bit when you do get these numbers out in front of home plate in no man's land where Alex can't get to it. Framber does his best, but really no chance. It can be very frustrating when you've got the stuff that's good enough to create the soft contact, but nothing to show for it.
Now Rougned Odor will be the hitter. We mentioned not many at-bats in this lineup against Framber. Rougned has the most of anybody in the lineup for Baltimore, just 5. He's 2 for 5 with a double. Odor had the big hit of the night in the game against Justin Verlander on Thursday, a 2-out, 2 RBI base hit that snapped an 0 for 15. Gave the Orioles a 2-0 lead, and that would be the final score. Framber missing on the first 2. It's 2-0. Astros still need 1 more win to get to 100 wins on the year. They also need 1 win today or tomorrow to get to 50 road wins for the 3rd time in franchise history. Little check swing into the Astros dugout. Is 2-1.
Yeah, it'd be great to pick up that 100th win and have it be 50 on the road, 50 at home. Really speak to the value of the Astros and how well they play, no matter where they're at.
We showed you Framber's road numbers coming into tonight. One of the best in franchise history. Missing up and in to Odor. The count's 3-1. a strike. Fastball in the corner, 3-2. This is Odor's 400th career at bat against the Houston Astros. Does have 20 home runs against Houston and 63 RBIs. He's also struck out 119 times in those 399 ABs. Just a little tapper. Fromber is going to make the play himself. Will have to spin and throw in time. Nice job by Fromber getting off the mound in a hurry to get Odor on the play. Hayes moves to second. And now a word from Reliant.
Reliant, official energy provider of the Houston Astros.
A couple of little tappers off the plate in this inning. One was an infield hit. The other Fromber had to pounce on to make a good play for the first out. Now Jorge Mateo the batter. Mateo takes one down, 1-0. Only other time Fromber pitched here was in relief back in 2018. Missing on the first two, back-to-back hitters with a 2-0 count. Fromber threw just 87 pitches his last start, his fewest of any start since the All-Star break. Ground ball towards Altuve. The runner will move to third. Altuve makes the play to first for the second out. Hayes advances 90 feet. Well, Fromber needs one more win to get on that list. He's sitting at 10 road wins. Obviously his final road start of the year. Trying to join JV and the Express, Jose Lima and Joe Niekro, with more than 10 wins on the road in one season.
Both those guys getting a lot of run support too.
Lima time at 99 must have gotten tons of runs.
They love them some Lima time. They picked him up. Yeah, it'd be great for Fromber. Just be another list to add Fromber to during this season where he has been very good.
Now Robinson Chirinos will bat. Chirinos takes 96, fastball for a strike. Misses the breaking ball. Fromber gets ahead 0-2.
It's a pretty good combo. Come with 96, an easy 96 with some two-seam run to get ahead. Then pull back about 18 miles, 16 miles an hour with a little bit of spin, slow things down and create the break. Now you've got some options. 0-2.
He got him. Martine's going to have to make the throw to Yuli Gurriel for the final out, which he does. Chirinos strikes out to end the inning. Both of Fromber's strikeouts have ended innings. And he works around traffic again, leaving a runner on third for the second straight inning.
Baltimore, though, recognizing the 45th anniversary of the retirement of third baseman Brooks Robinson. That was in 1977. The Hall of Famer greeted fans you see here driving around the warning track, just like he did in '77 when they celebrated his retirement. He spent 23 years with the club, started in 20 consecutive opening days. MVP in 1964, won 16 Gold Gloves, and the car actually stopped right in front of the Astros dugout. Spending time with Dusty Baker, he told Dusty to get in the car with him, but instead, Dusty introduced him there to his own third baseman. You see Alex Bregman chatting up Brooks right there. He really wanted a chance to meet Brooks, so they chatted for a little bit before his ride around the ballpark continued there, and Dusty told me that when Breggy does make good plays at third, guys, he calls him Brooks Robinson, one of the best to ever hold it down over there at third. TK.
Yeah, that was A really cool moment, kind of impromptu there. Dusty walking out as the car was going by the Astros dugout, and that had to be a cool moment for Breggy as well.
No, I'm a little jealous, to be honest with you. I knew it was Brooks Robinson Day, but he wasn't out there before the game for us to get down there and talk to him. But yeah, the history of Brooks Robinson and watching the way he played the game with such enthusiasm and such athleticism at third base was a lot of fun as a kid growing up to watch. Didn't really have a chance to watch him as a kid, but there's plenty of video out there of Brooks Robinson playing third base. I didn't realize 20 straight opening day starts. Pretty impressive. Yeah, it's kind of cool for Breggy to get down there and meet one of the greats all time.
The first 15,000 fans tonight received a poster print of the Norman Rockwell G. Thanks Brooks painting. Brooks honored before the game with that victory lap around Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Mauricio Dubon leading off for the Astros here in the third inning, has a 2-1 count. Mike Baumann so far has allowed 1 hit and 1 walk through 2 shutout innings. Dubon fouls one away. It's 2-2. 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for the Astros in the third. Facing this 26-year-old right-hander making his second major league start. 27-year-old right-hander. Dubon fouls one into the upper deck, staying at 2-2. Dubon's made most of his starts in center field, getting a start tonight in the expansive left field. Just his 4th start of the year in left.
I was a little surprised to see it happen on a Fromber day like this. Fromber's such a heavy ground ball percentage type guy. First couple of pitchers here in Baltimore are heavy on the fly ball. But nonetheless, Dubon gets a chance to go out there and roam around out there in left field where there's plenty of space here at Camden Yards.
Tomorrow's the heaviest fly ball pitcher of all, Christian Javier, getting the start tomorrow. Dubon sends one to the middle, not hit hard, but that's going to find its way into center field. So Dubon with the Astros' second hit, a leadoff base runner in the third. Get out and play is driven by Toyota. History made last night at Dodger Stadium. Albert Pujols against Andrew Heaney, hitting number 699, and then against Phil Bickford, he would hit number 700 in his career, becoming one of 4 all-time with 700 or more home runs. Pujols said Dodger Stadium last year gave me life when he went from the Angels and signed with the Dodgers as a free agent. His 5 children were on hand to witness that great moment last night. So after our game, a lot of Astros people on this road trip were back at the hotel at that point as history was made at Dodger Stadium. Incredible second half for Albert Pujols.
A real resurgence. He's made some adjustments to that swing. I know Astro fans may be a little bittersweet watching the machine go out there and get to that 700 plateau. Just a remarkable accomplishment and a real credit to him. Like you said, getting a little bit of life, finishing that last season with the Dodgers, and then signing back with the St. Louis Cardinals, saying that was going to be it. But he is swinging like a young Albert Pujols right now. 21 home runs on the season.
Since the All-Star break, he is second in OPS in the major leagues behind Aaron Judge.
Wow.
He has become a force offensively in that Cardinals lineup on his way to history. Martin Maldonado bats here with a runner on and nobody out. Maldonado, despite an 0 for 3 last night, still 8 for his last 16, including a couple of home runs. Maldonado hit his 14th home run of the year Wednesday. That was the last run the Astros scored. That was in the 9th inning of the Astros 5-2 victory against Tampa Bay on Wednesday night. And he goes down on strikes here. Baumann picking up his first strikeout.
This is that slider cutter, 94, just tailing away from Maldi. That's a swing right there where you swing at the velocity and you just can't anticipate that kind of break that quickly. a tough pitch.
Jose Altuve, who flied out to right his first time up, will be the batter. Altuve came in with a batting average of .297, the highest at the start of any game this year. Went 2 for 4 last night. So 10 games to go, including tonight. Altuve just 3 points away from 300. He's made a big jump of 11 points here over his last 5 games, going 10 for 17. Pitch missing up and away, 2-0 the count. Yeah, they keep listing it, like he said, as a slider, but that is a pretty severe slider or cutter at 94.
I went back into the scouting report just to check that out. Averaging 91 miles an hour on that pitch.
So they are listing it as a slider on the scouting report?
It's a cutter, according to Stats Inc.
Gotcha.
On the scouting report I've got.
Well, he's missed, though, on the last few to Altuve, and it's 3-0.
That's a lot to process when you're seeing spin at that rate of speed.
Altuve goes after the 3-0 pitch, sends it to center field. Well hit all the way back. That ball's gone. First run to the series for the Astros, coming a 2-run home run by Jose Altuve. And the Astros take a 2-0 lead.
Little man loves that elevated fastball, and Baumann gave it to him at 95 miles an hour at the top of the zone. And he makes a deposit in center field. He leaned back on that one. 101 off the bat, 405-foot bomb to center field. Breaking the seal here at Camden Yards.
And Astros fans with the catch of the home run ball in straightaway center field. Altuve with home run number 26 on the year. Gets that OPS back up over 900 as Jeremy Pena fouls one back. Altuve now with a 6-game hitting streak, 11 for 19 during that streak. And that was a much needed run scored for the Astros. Their first runner past second base in this series.
Yeah, it's tough to run into an out when you hit it out of the ballpark. That's what's awesome.
That ball shot towards right center, slicing away from Mullins, but he tracks it down. Mullins runs down that line drive, hit well by Pena to the warning track in right center.
There it is, that fastball up on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Barreled up. A lot of energy going through that swing for Jose Altuve as he leans back on it.
That is Altuve's 8th career home run on a 3-0 pitch. His 3rd this year. Yordan Alvarez takes one down with the fastball, 1-0. Yordan walked his first time up. Altuve and Justin Verlander excited with that last swing by Altuve. Now the count's 2-0 on the big man Alvarez.
Jordan got a plaque out here yet, or one of those little baseballs out there on Utah Street?
Not yet.
Need to work on that.
Feeling something?
A little bit right now.
As long as he doesn't get that called against him, he's in good shape.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that 2-1, really, was kind of feeling that changeup coming, just because sometimes pitchers don't want to fall behind to that 3-1 count, so they try and throw a little bit of an off-speed pitch that they can get over. But now you're in a situation where you might have to stand on the changeup. The only question is, do you throw 3 in a row right now to Jordan now that you've got him in that 3-2 count?
By the way, that's correction on Altuve. That was only his second career home run on a 3-0 pitch. And now a little foul at the plate. It was his 8th after starting a count 3-0, but it was his second career home run on a 3-0 pitch. And Jordan has a 3-2 count here. And Baumann comes back to pick up a strikeout of Jordan Alvarez. That'll end the inning. But the Astros can breathe a sigh of relief. They're on the board for the first time in the series, 2-0.
Justin Verlander, how about this 1-2 punch? We know it's very good because we've been watching it all season long. They are the best, though, when you combine their ERA, the 2.22 there, and then the opponent slugging is as low as 283 with these two, both leading the majors there. But looking ahead, you've got to be excited about what the Astros can run out there in those first few games of the postseason with these two guys. Of course, Lance McCullers Jr. in this mix as well. But the two of them all season long getting it done with a lot of innings. They've put in the work this season and led what's been such a terrific pitching staff all year, TK.
Yeah, what a 1-2 punch. You're right, Julia. Those two guys, Valdez, Verlander, not only giving the Astros quality starts deep into games, really impacting that bullpen, which has been the best in baseball all year. Dusty Baker has been able to use his relievers the way he wants to, not forced to use them earlier than he wants to for the most part. Those two guys deserve a lot of that credit. Framber facing the top of the order. Cedric Mullins here to start the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Framber working with a 2-0 lead now thanks to Jose Altuve. That ball off the glove of Framber, but he collects it before it hits the ground to make the play. A little nifty glove work there by Framber Valdez for the first out.
So lowest combined ERA teammate duos this season, Framber and Justin at the top with a 2.22. Anderson and Urias for the Dodgers right behind them. Some good numbers behind those guys, but none better than Verlander and Framber.
It's a big blow today for the Atlanta Braves, having to put Spencer Strider on the IL.
I couldn't believe that. That is disappointing for them.
That ball to right field, hit pretty well, but Kyle Tucker is there. Mountcastle, who had a base hit to right his first time up, goes the other way again. This time the ball stays in the air for out number 2.
It's a lengthy body of work for all those guys that are on that list, too. And to have Framber and JV at the top is really a credit, like you said, TK, to them. Just the work ethic, the poise. None of these guys really don't get flustered. They just continue to grind no matter how much traffic is out there. But you've got a guy right there in Justin that's been doing it forever. And then you got Framber learning how to do it, maturing year by year, getting it done. And of course, you add a healthy Lance McCullers into that mix, and you go into the month of October and you say, all right, we should be in pretty good shape as far as pitching in the first 3 games of his playoff series.
Here's Anthony Santander grounding a foul. Look out right towards Julia in the corner of the dugout. 0-2 the count. Hopefully all is well down there. Seems to be fine.
I'm good.
Good.
Yiner, you all right? He's coming for Yiner.
We're going to hear from James Click next half inning. He's going to join us in the booth as Framber Valdez picks up a strikeout to end the inning. I've heard that before. He's done it all 3 innings so far as he strikes out Santander. His best inning of the night, his first 1-2-3 inning. 2-run home run. We are happy to be joined by the general manager of the Houston Astros, who has joined us in the booth, James Click. here in the 4th inning. James, thanks for joining us. First of all, I guess the 2 runs help your mood out a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I did tell Gene Diaz I wasn't going to come over here unless we scored. So it was nice for Altuve to come through for all of us.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you cracked the code on that one.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
2-0 Astros. Alex Bregman leading off. James, 10 games to go in the regular season, including this one. A fun time of year for a team with 99 wins and headed towards a #1 seed. What are some of the main things you're focused on right now as we wrap up this regular season?
Well, we're talking about a lot of different things. You know, knowing that we're going to be in the postseason, we've already started having discussions about what our roster will look like in the postseason and how we best deploy those 26 players to put us in a chance to win. And so that might mean guys being in different roles. So we want to get a look at that. We have the luxury of a few games to get a look at some guys and maybe some different roles down the stretch. So the off day on Monday, the off day on Thursday will really help with that, especially on the pitching side of things.
Talking about Framber Valdez, you've been here a couple of years now watching him pitch. What have you seen him progress and do well over those years to get to the point where he's putting together this kind of year?
Yeah, it's interesting because I knew him by reputation before I got here. And, you know, thinking back to that 2020 season, I think he led the league in innings in that season. So, you know, I have only seen the guy that has been a very dominant starting pitcher for the entire time I've been here. But you can see him continue to mature, continue to compose himself in the mound, continue to command his pitches, continue to add new pitches. He's got that little cutter that he's working on these days, which I think gives him another wrinkle. And I'm sure that's the last thing that the hitters on the other teams want to see is Framber Valdez with just another weapon.
Leadoff walk for Alex Bregman here in the 4th inning. Astros leading 2-0, and Kyle Tucker will be the batter. Quick visit here. We mentioned Baumann might have a limited pitch count, and the Orioles have their bullpen working here in the 4th inning with Tucker coming to the plate. Kyle Tucker sitting at 102 runs batted in, trying to get to 25 steals as well. What a year for Tuck, who early in the season was batting in that 6th spot in the lineup, which is not a big RBI spot usually.
Well, with a lineup that can be as deep as ours is, there are a lot of different RBI spots in the lineup, and so he's taking advantage of it. There's a lot of guys who can be in that spot in the lineup, and you don't come through, but Tuck just keeps coming through again and again. It always seems to be in the big spot also. When you need a big home run, he'll get you that. When you need a sac fly, he'll get you that. I mean, we saw it just earlier this week in Tampa. So he's a big part of this offense. It's been fun to see him continue to expand his game, continue to mature as a hitter, and get out there and really contribute. And I mean, 100 RBIs, they don't grow on trees.
No, it's a lot of credit to the guys in front of him getting on base and him obviously coming through with some of those swings. As a highly analytic front office that we have, how do you guys feel about that stolen base and Tucker being so good at it? You've got Altuve running like crazy. These guys move a lot of the bases.
Yeah, and we're always looking at the risk reward of all of those decisions. Sometimes it's stolen bases. What is the value of a stolen base versus the cost of being caught stealing? You know, it can even we'll have debates about, let's say there's a guy on 3rd and 1 out and there's a fly ball down the line and it's drifting foul. You know, do you let it drop or do you catch it and let the run score? Is the out worth the run? So the entire game, we're doing a much better job these days. I think having the conversations about the risk reward of all of these kind of things, and stolen bases and caught stealing is certainly a very it's an example. It's right in your face, but there's a lot of it that goes on.
Of course, we're going to have the quickest half inning of the night. Leadoff walk followed by a double play and a ground ball. You're okay at the bottom of the inning.
I'll stick around.
All right, James Click will join us in the bottom half. 2-0 Astros. Manager of the Houston Astros. Houston leading 2-0 as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. James, everything a little different this year in terms of the postseason. You guys wrap up your schedule a week from Wednesday, and then you will not play again until the following Tuesday. So you'll have 5 days off in between. What kind of challenges does that present to your team?
Yeah, it's keeping the guys sharp, and a 5-day break is certainly welcome. We'll take advantage of it. We'll use it, but we've already started talking about a taxi squad, maybe some short simulation games, some live at-bats, some live BP, things like that. The hitters in particular, I think, are really going to want to see live pitching in those couple days leading up to the start of the ALDS, and so that's something that we are working on, is how do we keep everybody sharp and rested, and the balance of those two things.
Yeah, the beauty of that is you will have an opportunity also to keep those guys healthy and get their legs back under them. That's definitely a benefit. How important do you feel it is to have that best record in the American League?
Well, we want to have home field advantage throughout. I think it's so big to be in front of our fans at Minute Maid Park if we can get to the ALCS in Game 1 and Game 2. And just assuring ourselves of that and knowing what our travel schedule is going to be so that we can plan for that kind of things has real value to us. Plus, it's just a point of pride. You always want to go into the postseason saying, hey, you know what? We're the best team in the league, and here's our record to prove it.
Astros leading 2-0 as Adley Rutschman leads off the bottom half of the fourth inning. This is also a unique postseason in the ALDS scheduling in that you have game 1 and an off day, then game 3 and an off day, and then 3 in a row. So it gives you flexibility with how you use your game 1 starter, not necessarily your game 2 starter.
Yeah, it does, and it's something that we're talking about how do we deploy that pitching staff, how many arms do we need, what do we do about the fact that there's no longer going to be the runner on second in extra innings? Does that lead to the possibility of an extra inning game? How likely is a series to go 5 games? Because if it's done in 4, which I think slightly more than half of them are, then you can get through with only 3 starters on regular rest, and what does that do? So there's a lot to it. But then when you get to the ALCS, if we get to the ALCS, it's 2 games in an off day and then 5 in a row. And I really, really want to get there. I mean, obviously we want to get there, but I think our pitching staff is uniquely set up to take advantage of that particular schedule, because I think that the depth of our starting pitching in particular is better than any team in the league, and we want a chance to show that off in the ALCS.
So that DS, you're probably going to have to make, you just mentioned it last break, talking about how you're going to have to make some tough choices in that starting rotation and adjust that bullpen according to the matchup that you have in that division series. But during the course of this season, you haven't really had to shorten too many games by going to the bullpen early. Is there any idea of potentially doing that in the postseason, or are you just going to ride these guys out and let them continue to do, hopefully, what they've been doing all year?
Well, look, if you want to go out there after 2 times through the order and tell Justin Verlander that you're taking the ball from him,
and I'll get mad if you go talk to him about it, too.
Well, look, we have the luxury of having a lot of starters who are not the kind of guys that you need to shorten up. They have enough weapons the first time through, the second time through, the third time through to continue to adjust to the hitters. And I think Maldi and Vasquez have deployed game plans that allow them to get deeper in games than maybe some other starters would. And so it's something that we're going to have to balance, because we are going to have those off days, and do you go get a Verlander maybe a little bit earlier in the game so that if he comes back on regular rest in game 4, he's a little bit more rested, or do you just try to put the foot down and try to really win that game right there?
The score could encourage you either way.
There's going to be so many factors that go into it, and so there's a lot of planning left to be done.
Framber Valdez facing Ramon Urias after a leadoff hit by Adley Rutschman here to start the bottom of the 4th inning. James, I know you guys go through a lot of models and projections, not only for your team but around the league. Did you see 99 wins with 10 games to go? Is this pretty close to the upper echelon of what you thought could happen for this year's squad?
Yeah, look, this is baseball. I don't care how good you think your team is. You know, predicting 99 wins with 10 games to go, you know, that's a tall order for any team.
Yeah. Tough play for Bregman. We see that with Framber all the time, those little tappers up the third baseline.
Yeah, no, and I mean, our guys just have to be ready, and sometimes you just tip your cap, and that's what happens. And so, yeah, I mean, you're talking about 99 wins with 10 games to go. I mean, you know, little things like that can decide ball games. We saw it with Hector Neris last night, where you know, soft contact, soft contact, soft contact. You would bet going forward that he's not going to give up those kind of runs if he gives up that kind of quality of contact or throws those quality of pitches, but it's a game of baseball.
We've got Dubon in left field and Chas McCormick in center field. We haven't seen this alignment really too often at all this season. Is there any process behind this, or maybe Mancini in right field last night? Is there any idea, with you already having clinched the West, obviously heading towards that best record in the American League, to give these guys opportunities out there and actually see what it looks like to have them in those positions?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about a little bit in the top half of the inning, where we want to get guys into positions that we may use them in the playoffs. And I think that Chas McCormick has done a tremendous job in center field. One of the cool things about some of the new data that we have is that we can quantify guys' reaction times, their top speed, their route efficiency. And, all right.
Oh! Ball fumbled by Pena. Could have been the 25th double play behind Framber Valdez this year. Instead, the bases will be loaded.
I'll leave the color commentary to you guys. Anyway, getting back to your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we with the new data that we have, we can quantify reaction times and things like that. And Chas McCormick has some of the best reaction times in baseball. And so he may not look like a traditional center fielder, but his route efficiency and his reaction times are so good that he makes up for having not elite top speed, and actually makes more plays than you would expect out of an average center fielder. And so he's quantified as an above average center fielder. So we want to see him out there. Dubon, I think, does a really good job going side to side, but want to see him in a corner, and especially in a corner here where it's so big behind him that in a lot of ways you may almost want to have a better defender in left than you do in center, just with the amount of ground to cover. So we don't anticipate being back here in Baltimore for the playoffs, but this is the kind of thing where it gets them both some good experience with some big acreage out there.
Rougned Odor will bat now with the bases loaded. That last play, an error charge to Jeremy Pena to load him up with Orioles. Well, James, you guys obviously are locked in on trying to get to as many wins as possible and get ready for the postseason. When you look at the tough decision you had to make when both Lance McCullers Jr. and Justin Verlander came off the IL, sending Seth Martinez down a couple of times, it gets even tougher. This ball sent through in between Altuve and Pena is going to score 2 and tie the game. Odor had a 2 RBI base hit against Verlander. Does the same here against Framber Valdez to tie up the game. You're going to have an equally, if not more difficult decision to try and get down to a playoff roster of 13, I would think.
Yeah, but this is a good problem to have. We've talked about this a lot. We want to put ourselves in a position to have to make these very difficult decisions, and there are going to be some very, very deserving pitchers that are going to be in reduced roles, reduced innings expectations in the playoffs, and maybe if some guys who are off the roster entirely in the first round with those off days. And so there will be some tough conversations, but this is the game of baseball. Everybody understands the role, everybody understands what we're after, and they know that even if they're not in their traditional role or not on the roster in the first round, that they're still a big part of the group that got us here, and they're still going to be a big part of the group that's going to help us hopefully bring home a trophy.
I think these guys actually do a really good job of understanding the regular season and how important it is for them to go out there and get their numbers, contribute to the ball club, and get to the win total that they need, and clinch hopefully that #1 record overall. So I'm sure those guys are thinking about it maybe when the season is over, anticipating that possibility, because you guys are as deep as you are. So nobody's run into your office yet and said, "Hey, put me on the roster. I can do whatever you want."
No, and that's one of the great things about this clubhouse is it's full of professionals. These guys understand.
It is impressive.
And it doesn't mean that they want it any less. They all want to be out there. They want to be the guy with the ball. They all want to take the ball. But they also understand the quality of this roster and how good their teammates are. And so it's not going to make the conversations any easier, but I think it makes it a little bit more understandable.
Framber facing Jorge Mateo here. A little soft tapper up the first baseline. Framber will clip it with his glove and get the first out of the inning. Austin Hayes will score a run to make it 3-2. Soft contact, but a run scores as Mateo drives in a run. Austin Hayes making it a 3-2 game.
I cannot even imagine how frustrated Framber has to be. Even with his soft contact, the traffic out there, he always keeps his poise, but did not get that double play ball. But even the first out of this inning, he's got to go over there and make a great glove-handed flip to get that first out of the inning. That's one of the things that has impressed me about Framber over the years that we've been able to watch is we know the stuff plays, but the poise and the ability to keep himself under control on the mound and still get to the stuff to make sure he gets outs.
No, I mean, you can see him out there right now. He's taking his deep breaths. He's taking his time. These are the things that, I try, like I talk to my kids about sometimes, taking a deep breath. And then, of course, my kids now and my wife now tell me to take a deep breath. Innings are going like this. So I'm doing my own breathing exercises right now.
You're doing really well.
Hi, honey. I'm calm. So.
There's a called strike 0-1. Robinson Chirinos, the batter. He caught Framber as much as anybody. Only Martin Maldonado has caught Framber Valdez more in his career than Robinson Chirinos, who struck out his first time up. James Click joining us in the booth here in a 3-2 Orioles lead. 3 hits and an error in this inning. A little tapper foul. It's 0-2. As you look around the league, it keeps changing day to day. 4, 5, and 6 seeds, and I guess you guys are having to prepare equally for all 3 on a given day, and even just in case they get the 2 seed, maybe even Cleveland as well.
Yeah, no, we have to keep an eye on everybody. That's the job. It's the new playoff format has some definite benefits, and getting to one of those top 2 seeds and getting a bye and having the other team have to play 2, maybe 3 games before they play you is obviously a huge advantage. It's a disadvantage for Tommy Kawamura and our whole advanced crew down there, who, you know, if you haven't bought stock in coffee in the greater Houston area, I would do so soon, because Tommy and his crew are going to be buying as much of it as they can.
0-2 pitch is a little tapper towards Bregman, stays fair. Alex will make the play across the diamond to get Chirinos for the second out.
But we've all been through this before. I mean, you know, anytime you're facing a wild card team like the Astros were back in 2019, you just sit there with 2 different booklets.
Yep.
One of them is one team and one of them is the other team. So we'll be ready to go. But you know, fortunately, we do have a few days between the end of the season, and we have some time now to send some people out. Tampa's playing Cleveland starting in a couple days, so we'll have people there. Tampa's playing Toronto right there. You know, you try to knock off 2 birds with 1 stone in those kind of ballparks where you can get a look at your potential opponents. So
whoever loses game 1 of the wild card series, you're cheering hard for that team to win game 2. To take it to a 3-game series.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though, again, that's going to put Tommy and his crew in a tough spot, because that's just one more day where they don't know who we're actually preparing to play.
One more starter.
But yeah, yes, and I would like that game 3 to go about 25 innings.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Cedric Mullins, the batter, taking one down and away, 1-1.
Framber Valdez, we've been putting up numbers and talking about him on the road all season. So throughout the course of the season, these guys are getting 29, 30 starts, and they have maybe a big discrepancy between home and the road. Say, Framber's aren't really that drastic, but he is much better on the road. Would you take that into account going into a postseason series?
It depends on kind of what metrics you're looking at. You know, some guys are better suited to one ballpark or another. This ballpark is so extreme that, you know, I would have a bunch of lefty fly ball pitchers on my staff if I were here. But Framber, with as many ground balls as he gets, I think that he would be less susceptible to the differences in the ballparks than maybe a fly ball pitcher would. That said, some guys are more comfortable. Some infields are slower than other infields, and so we try to take that into account. But by and large, the talent of the pitcher is gonna
play anywhere.
A guy like Framber, there's no park that's gonna you know, switch him out of being a dominant starter.
Do you know which ballparks have slower infields than others? Is there a way to quantify that?
Well, Minute Maid
or is
Park
it just talking to guys on the field?
Well, Minute Maid Park had an oddly slow infield every time Dallas Keuchel pitched there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
get that thing nice and
really
moist.
Wet. Yeah, it was a lot of extra water on the infield. It was really weird.
That was a great Maddox effect when we played.
Ball in the dirt will allow Odor to get to third.
But in all seriousness, as infields dry out over the course of the season, it can get a little faster. It can get a little hotter on the infield. If the grass dies a little bit, you know, that can change the way that the ball plays.
Speaking of surfaces, will we see a new surface come Tuesday for the last homestand?
That's the plan, because there's not one down there right now. So they took it all up, and then Billy Joel came in and played his concert, and Izzy and his guys are hurriedly putting down new sod throughout the outfield. So hopefully that's foul.
Yeah,
hopefully we should have a brand new surface there by the time we get back on Tuesday. So yeah, I know it didn't look great. It got a little rough out there, but you know, it's a credit to our guys to deal with it and play through it. But we'll have a brand new sod out there for the last homestand in the playoffs.
3-2 the count to Cedric Mullins, 2 outs. Framber Valdez has allowed 2 earned runs, 1 unearned run in this inning. As Mullins sends one high in the air to right field, Tucker will look at this one go. 2 more unearned runs cross the plate against Framber Valdez. It is 5-2 Orioles. Consecutive quality start streak doesn't end with the 5 runs, but that's a big 5 spot for Baltimore here in the inning.
Yeah, this team is playing possessed against the Astros. Their pitching has been above par. Their hitting scratched out a bunch of traffic and base runners. And that's probably the most astonishing number to me, is that is the first left-handed home run that Framber has given up this season. 10th home run overall.
This ball hit well down the right field line, and that'll be out of play. Can I give a disclaimer that nothing in the booth controls what happens on the field? We hear this all the time when Blubber and I talk about stuff and something happens. But there's no control up here, James. So please.
Do you have evidence for that? Do you have data to back that up?
We have data to back that up.
Not on social media, but we have.
Not on. Yeah, please. Do not direct anything in that direction. But yeah, there's a ball sitting there in foul territory. That's why a little bit of a delay. But I think we are pretty good at this point. Blubber, do you have anything else?
It's okay. I'm good.
What are you going to do? We won 99. We'll get to 100. We'll get there.
So, maybe tonight.
Maybe.
Yeah. Selfishly, I wanted to see the 50 wins on the road, 50+ wins at home. They're obviously going to pick up a couple more when they get back home. But 50 on the road would have been a nice accomplishment.
How many do we have on the road right now?
49.
Okay. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 50 and something.
How about you're a little bit closer to these guys, but how unique it's unique to me to watch this ball club. We always talk about their clubhouse. They can turn the page quicker than anybody. That's what's impressive to me about these guys. I mean, it's frustrating. There's things out of their control. You talked about baseball being the way it is, soft contact, base runners, traffic, and all of a sudden a guy clips one. But these guys will show up tomorrow. You go in the clubhouse, and it's like nothing happened the day before.
Yeah, there's been a rule around baseball for a long time that after a game, whether it's a big win or a big loss, you get 30 minutes, and after that, you just got to move on because we play every day, and these guys take that to heart. I think it's a really good point. Later tonight, if we don't end up coming back, the guys will talk about it for a little bit, and then that'll be that. So
we should have had you sign a waiver to make sure nothing that happened tonight will impact you coming back with us again on the in the broadcast booth. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, we finally got that long inning, guys.
Thank you. Great. 5-2 Orioles.
Thanks, James.
Thanks.
Returns next Sunday, October 2nd, after the Astros take on the Rays. Get the Astros Yoga Day add-on package to receive a unique Astros yoga kit, plus access to a 45-minute post-game yoga lesson led by a professional instructor. Visit astros.com/yoga to learn more. Thanks to James Click for joining us that last half inning. Actually, the last full inning. I'm sure it was not his favorite half inning to watch this year, as the Astros gave up 5 runs. Framber Valdez giving up a 5-run 4th inning, with 2 of those 5 runs being earned. And now the Astros with work to do, trailing 5-2. And they'll go to the bullpen. Will the Baltimore Orioles to start the 5th inning.
Yeah, they're going to go to Joey Kribel. On the season, he's 5-4. Also has a save on the season. His whip at 1.11, 44 strikeouts and 53 appearances. Threw in a game against the Astros back in Houston, when an inning and a third. Gave up 1 hit on a home run.
So the Astros with work to do now, down 3. Chas McCormick will lead off. They'll have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up. McCormick grounded out his first time up, as he takes a called strike here. Four innings for Mike Baumann. Allows 2 runs on the Jose Altuve 2-run home run. Gave up 3 hits, walked a couple of batters, and struck out 2. There's a ball up the middle. That's the way to start the top half of the 5th inning. After a 5 spot in the bottom of the 4th, Chas McCormick, a leadoff base runner for the Astros here in the 5th. Now a word from Jack in the Box.
Mix good sauce with my new spicy good sauce for spicy good sauce.
Mauricio Dubon singled and scored a run. He crossed the plate on the 2-run home run by Altuve, his first time up. Astros now with 4 hits in the game. All 5 of Dubon's home runs this year have been hit in his home ballpark. Hit a couple with the Giants. All 3 with the Astros have been at Minute Maid Park, looking for his first home run on the road this season. That ball towards left field, playable for Austin Hayes. He'll back up a few steps and put it away. That's the first out of the inning. Crable will now face Martin Maldonado. Baldy struck out his first time up. Crable has pitched for for Arizona in the beginning of his career in 2018, and then Tampa Bay and Baltimore last year. Only one game with Tampa Bay. He's from that area, went to Seminole High School. Claimed off waivers by the Orioles last September, almost on this date, September 21st.
I feel like every team in the big leagues has at least two guys from Tampa. It's just been a legendary baseball factory.
Missing inside to Maldonado, 1-0. Excuse me, 2-0. Yeah, the Orioles were trying to find arms the last couple of years, and Crable was one of the guys they liked once he went on waivers. A guy that the Astros know pretty well, who's having a great year, is the left-hander Cionel Perez. He was claimed off waivers from the Reds in the offseason coming into this year. Advantage of being near the bottom of the standings lately for the Orioles is they get first dibs on a lot of these guys that go on waivers.
I know that from my fantasy football league.
There's a line drive. Base hit in the left field. Maldi with a base hit. He's now 9 for his last 18. And the Astros back in business will bring the tying run to the plate in Jose Altuve.
Yeah, Baldy's pumping those numbers in September. Doing a good job right here against Crable. The fastball missing its spot and raked it to the left. Good to have traffic on there as you see this Astros lineup turn over. They're definitely trying to battle back in this game.
Altuve hitting a 2-run home run his last time up, has that OPS above 900 at 905, and has that batting average at 297, as close to 300 as he's been all year.
Big swing in that third inning. Elevated fastball. Powered to center field. 405 feet to center field. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud, giving you a unique visual. 101 off the bat. 405-foot shot.
First pitch, hook foul.
Crable's got several pitches. Fastball averages around 94, 95 miles an hour. Has a changeup, curveball, slider. Really seen in this series a lot of right-handed pitchers throwing changeups to right-handed hitters of the Astros. Crable's a guy that's going to basically use 3 pitches against right-handed hitters. It'll be that fastball, changeup, and the slider.
The only time he has faced Altuve, which was last August at Minute Maid Park, he struck him out on a changeup. Missing wide, 2-1. Astros now with 5 hits to the Orioles 7. We have seen this series be very low scoring. The first 5 games the Orioles have faced the Astros. Tonight, 12 hits and 7 runs combined as we play here in the 5th inning. That one way inside, almost hits Altuve. It's 3-1. And you know, nobody in that Astros lineup wants to hit with the bases loaded more than Jeremy Pena after making that mistake in the field the last half inning.
That's the truth, TK. Yeah, that error led to a big inning, and you know he'd love to get up there with an opportunity to do damage and get a couple of those runs back.
Altuve hit a 3-0 pitch out for a home run his last time up, and that one misses ball 4. So the bases will be loaded. 1 out in the inning. And Jeremy Pena, a chance to atone for a defensive mistake last half inning, will bat with the bases full. A little quick meeting at the mound right here. Chris Holt, the pitching coach, going out to have a word with Joey Crable.
This is a little of going over the scouting report, making sure he knows what he's going to try and do against Jeremy Pena. Also, maybe recommendation in the mechanics of the pitch, trying to get some of these pitches on the plate. Last thing you want to do is start walking guys in, but you also don't want to leave a mistake up out over the plate. Jeremy Pena, a good job swinging the bat this year, sitting on 19 home runs. Also got Jordan looming on deck, so maybe a couple extra minutes for Cionel Perez to get some throws in out there in that bullpen.
And the aforementioned Cionel Perez has been warming up in that O's bullpen with Jordan on deck. Jeremy's had 7 plate appearances with bases loaded. He is 2 for 6 with a walk. Takes one, could have been below the zone, called a strike by Ramon De Jesus. 0-1.
Below the zone. There's that little bit of a slider at 90.
McCormick on third, Maldonado on second, Altuve on first, and that ball's in the gap. That's going to score at least 2. Altuve's flying to third. He'll be held up there. The Astros make it a 1-run game. It's now 5-4. Pena 2 RBI double.
Great job by Jeremy. I love the fact that even though he took that first pitch, it was down out of the zone. He wasn't going to expand. He was going to keep tight, make Crable come to him, and he did, and he made him pay. Came back with the same pitch. It backed up, stayed up out over the plate, and Jeremy just reacted to the mistake and hit it hard in that left center field gap, knocking in 2 and knocking Crable out of this game. Great at bat.
So the Orioles go to their bullpen for Joey Crable. He gives up 4 base runners of the 5 hitters he faces, and Cionel Perez will be called on in a tough spot to face Jordan Alvarez when we come back.
Baltimore, it's the top of the 5th with 1 out. A couple of runs in and a couple of runners on at 2nd and 3rd for the Houston Astros. Jordan Alvarez coming to the plate. He's going to have to face a new left-hander into this game. Cionel Perez spent a couple of years with the Astros before spending a season with the Cincinnati Reds. Now a Baltimore Oriole. He's been a workhorse out of their bullpen. 61 games, doing a great job. A 1.36 ERA. He's got a good live arm. Mid-90s with that fastball. He's been very good right here at Camden Yards. Has a .31 ERA in this stadium and has yet to give up a home run at home.
He's got the tying run inherited at third base and the go-ahead run over at second base with Jeremy Pena. Last month when Jordan Alvarez faced Cionel Perez for the only time in their head-to-head matchups in their career, Jordan singled on a first-pitch fastball. The infield for the Orioles coming in here in a 1-run game in the 5th inning. Well, Jordan sitting on 94 runs batted in. Chance to get a little closer to a 100 RBI season here, facing Perez for the 2nd time in a month. There's a base hit to left field. Altuve will score. Pena being held up. And the throw comes back in. Yordan Alvarez ties the game at 5. His 95th RBI of the year.
He's not waiting around. Nice piece of hitting, too. Sometimes you get these big boppers that want to go deep, make a big thunderous statement, but he did a good job understanding that he just needed to take a pitch and go the other way, keep this inning going. Part of the beauty of this lineup for the Houston Astros is that they can go out and slug with the best of them, but at the same time, they're not afraid to take advantage of some open space out there and put together great at-bats to really extend innings with that base hit, tying things up. We got a whole new ball game.
Astros answer the 5-run bottom of the 4th with a 3 spot here in the top of the 5th, and now Alex Bregman can give Houston the lead once again, 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Bregman takes a fastball up, 1-0. Bregman has also faced Cionel Perez once, and he has a base hit against Perez. It was a 10-pitch at bat back at Minute Maid Park, and he finally put a slider in play for a base hit. There's a slider down and in, 2-0.
It's only the 2nd earned run that Cionel Perez has given up in 28 2/3 innings here at his home ballpark.
And that won't even count against his ledger.
That's a good thing for that ERA.
He's inherited 39 runners now this season.
Wow. Some pressure situations.
That is a lot of base runners inherited. 11 have scored out of the 39, and he still has Pena on 3rd base. Saw the bullpen still going for Baltimore. We knew it would be a big bullpen day for them. They might go to a 3rd pitcher in this inning if it gets beyond Tucker here in the 5th. 2-0 the count to Bregman. Alex fouls one. Long run for Santander, and he'll make a basket catch. Here comes Pena. Here comes the throw. Pena's safe. To 2nd goes Alvarez. The throw gets away. Jeremy Pena with a head-first slide gives the Astros a 6-5 lead. And he seems like he's a little woozy coming away from home plate.
His helmet went flying. But Jeremy's all right. He made a great decision to tag up on this tough play from Santander and giving Alex Bregman credit for the sacrifice fly. That was a long way for Santander to go. Oh, man.
He just launched himself.
Well, he gets going pretty good, but that was a tough landing at home.
Ooh. James Click was just talking about that play. About the potential on a sac fly in foul territory, whether or not to catch the ball or not.
Yep.
As Pena will go get checked out, they'll probably go through the concussion protocol test as Kyle Tucker swings and misses.
And watch the head. That right arm hit and tucked, so he had no protection. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, I think, they'll be very careful with Pena. And if he is showing any signs of a potential concussion, they will obviously get him out of the game, but he'll be looked at back in the clubhouse here. The Astros take the lead on that sac fly by Alex Bregman. It's now a 6-5 game as Kyle Tucker will bat with Yordan Alvarez on 2nd base and 2 outs. Went from a 5-game series between these two teams with very little scoring to a wild offensive affair tonight, back and forth. 2-0 Astros, 5-2 Orioles, and now 6-5 Astros. This will not be a boring game summary for Julia tonight, or whoever does the game summary.
Not it.
Plummer's night tonight. So Julius had to stretch in these 1-0 games in the 7th inning. Now Blummer's going to have to pack in a lot of heat in a short amount of time.
I have to test my vernacular.
Nice. 2-minute warning drill, kind of no huddle offense. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
What if I just lay out?
Just let the plays happen?
Yeah, just
don't even acknowledge them.
Let the visuals just take over.
You could do that.
That's an option.
Tucker with a count of 2-2. They still have the righty warming up with the bullpen. So if CNL does not get Tucker, I would think that might be his last batter. But he is able to get Tucker to end the inning. But the Astros, a big 4-run 5th inning, take the lead 6-5. We're halfway home here in Baltimore. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Stuart J. Gus, personal injury attorney. Trust Gus. And by Metro and the Metro Next Moving Forward plan, bringing 500 miles of travel improvements to the region. Astros do go to a new shortstop here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Aledmus Diaz takes over for Jeremy Pena.
It was a tough slide into home plate. You just hope that Jeremy Pena is all right. This could be a little bit of a precautionary move to get him out of there and get that treatment.
Now Framber Valdez, who worked earlier with a 2-0 lead, left the mound after the 4th, down 5-2, and now he takes the mound up 6-5. First 2 pitches to Anthony Santander miss. It's 2-0. 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Baltimore Orioles, who sent 8 men to the plate against Framber in the 4th inning and scored 5 runs. 3 of those 5 runs were unearned runs. So Framber's quality start streak is still intact, but he has to tighten it up here through the 5th and 6th innings. There's a strike. Framber 66 pitches through 4 innings. 65 pitches through 4. He's thrown 5 pitches here in the 5th. He's at 70 pitches for the night. He comes back after being down 3-0. Gets the foul ball there. Santander 1 for 2 with a single his first time up. See 29 pitch 4th inning. Ground ball foul. During that 4th inning with all those runs scoring, Framber actually took over the American League lead in innings pitched. Needed 3 2/3 innings to become the leader in innings pitched on the season. As Framber is now at 189 2/3 innings. In the air, pretty well struck to center field. Santander thinks he has enough, and he does. About 6 rows deep into the center field bleachers. Solo home run for Santander, his 28th on the year, 13 since the All-Star break, and we are tied at 6.
Fastball on that outer 3rd. And Santander got to it. So he dons the home run chain in the Oriole dugout.
Six of the previous 7 starts for Framber, he had not allowed a home run. The only game where he did allow a home run was in Arlington against the Rangers, allowed 2 home runs that game. He has allowed 2 home runs tonight. Framber came in first in home runs per 9, allowing 0.44 home runs per 9 innings this year. Adley Rutschman. Rutschman hits the ball into right center field. That'll be down for a hit. Tucker will play it on a couple of hops. Rutschman on first base with nobody out here in the 5th inning.
It's a two-seamer. It's up in the zone, out over the plate. See the extension on the swing from Santander. And he knew he got it as soon as he hit it.
Rutschman, not normally a good right-hand hitter, has 2 hits tonight against Framber Valdez and 3 at bats. And now Ramon Arias bats. He was 1 for 2. A little squibbing single his last time up. That is hit number 9 for the Orioles in this game. That matches a season high for Framber. He allowed 9 hits against the Tigers back on May the 7th. Kind of unusual territory here for Framber Valdez with this many base runners through 4 innings plus 2 batters. Down and in, 2-1. Nobody warming in the Astros bullpen as Framber approaches 80 pitches on the night. And there's a strike, 2-2. That home run was the 3rd earned run allowed by Framber this evening. He is right on that threshold. Can't allow anything else. Has to go at least 6 innings to keep that quality start streak alive. In the curveball, and a great take as it turns out by Urias as that ball stayed below the zone. Tough take on a 2-2 pitch and a good take. Now the count's full. Called 3rd strike, dotted him up on the inside corner. Big strikeout for Framber. That's his 5th strikeout of the game. The other 4 had all ended innings.
That was a great pitch by Framber. Good choice by Baldy too. Sending out the right signal, and give Framber credit for executing that two-seamer nicely. With that two-seam run, it'll stay on that inside corner. As a hitter, you assume it's going to cut across the plate and end up inside off the corner. But with that two-seam action, it stays on the inside. Beautiful pitch, big pitch.
Now Austin Hayes will bat. Hayes was a big part of that 5-run 4th inning. Hit a ground ball towards Jeremy Pena that could have been a double play, but the error allowed everybody to be safe, and that would lead to 3 unearned runs in the inning, a couple of earned runs. Framber delivers low for a ball, 1-1. Framber has 24 double plays turned behind him, most in the American League. Johnny Cueto next closest with 18. Kyle Wright leads the major leagues with 25 double plays turned behind him, and Dakota Hudson in the National League has had 24 double plays behind him, tied with Framber. Framber would love a ground ball to Aledmus Diaz or Alex Bregman here. Broken bat towards a lead miss, bobbles, and finally gets the ball out of his glove. They get the force at second. Diaz couldn't find the handle, finally found it in time to get the force out, but another potential double play ball off the bat of Austin Hayes. The Astros at least able to get one out this time.
This is a 4-game series here.
Yep.
I'm ready to go. Some weird things happening here. That was an exhaustive grab at that baseball to finally get the out. I'm concerned about Rutschman's speed.
I'm not sure I've seen that before.
That was bizarre. He had to really get in there and get that baseball.
That was a quadruple. In the air to center field. Should be playable for Chas McCormick. And it is. Framber Valdez through 5 innings has allowed 6 runs, 3 of them earned, 3 of them unearned. And we're tied up at 6.
The Astros celebrate another division title with an eye on the postseason. Mauricio Dubon talks about his pride in representing Honduras. And we'll focus on the Astros' Latin American success with Oz Ocampo. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the postgame, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
After a bunch of low-scoring contests between the Astros and the Orioles in 2022, tonight's been a wild offensive affair. 6 runs on both sides as we play into the 6th inning. Orioles are going to go to their 4th pitcher of the night, calling the right-hander Brian Baker.
Right-hander on the season is an appearance in 60 games, a couple of those being starts. ERA close to 4. His whip is at 1.35, and opponents hitting .251 against the big right-hander. 6'6", 245-pound Brian Baker.
He can hit triple digits occasionally. He can bring the heat as he faces Yuli Gurriel here to start the inning. And he starts him off with 94 off the plate. Yuli 0 for 2 tonight. It'll be Yuli, Chas McCormick, and Mauricio Dubon. Astros led 2-0. Orioles took a 5-2 lead. Astros retook the lead with a 4-run 5th to make it 6-5, and then the Orioles tied it with a home run in the bottom of the 5th. Looks like the Astros, at least for now, are content with allowing Framber to get one more inning. He's at 85 pitches through 5. He's allowed 6 runs, 3 earned runs, and 3 unearned runs. 2-0 to count to Yuli. One's off the plate, 3-0. Yuli, Chas McCormick, and Mauricio Dubon due up here in the 6th inning. And Yuli goes after the 3-0 pitch and sends one in the air to right field. Playable for Santander for the first out of the inning. I'll bring up Chas McCormick. Chas 1 for 2 with a run scored. Baker has missed on 4 of his first 5 pitches tonight as he misses with that fastball. 1-0. Now one catches the plate. 1-1. Chas scored a run on the 2 RBI double by Jeremy Pena with the bases loaded. Pena having to leave the game later in the inning. on a rough slide at home plate to give the Astros a 6-5 lead. Tough pitch to hit right there. 97 on the corner at the knees. 1-2. Just missed with 98, and the count evens up. Astros scored 2 runs against the starter Mike Baumann, and then got 4 runs on Joey Crable in a third of an inning. Cionel Perez allowing a couple of inherited runs to score, but didn't have anything charged to his own record. Now Brian Baker. That's up 3-2. Baker, another guy in that bullpen who was claimed off waivers. He was with Toronto last season, pitched his first major league game with the Blue Jays last year. And claimed off waivers by the Orioles this offseason. 3-2 pitch. Chaz protecting in case that corner was going to be called a strike. It stays 3-2.
Yeah, I think that's what that swing was. It was a little defensive just because there was a question mark around that outside edge.
Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Baker. 2 outs in the inning.
Time now to play Name That Astro, powered by Reliant. 3 clues. Weird science. Postseason star PH Fat Albert. If you know who that Astro is, get to Twitter and get to @ATT_SportsNetSW and tell us who you think that Astro is. And hang tight. There should be more runs and the answer to that. Who's Name That Astro, powered by Reliant.
Mauricio Dubon will bat. Baker picking up his 19th strikeout in his last 16 2/3 innings of work as Dubon fouls one away. Mauricio 1 for 2 with a run scored tonight. Astros 6 runs on 7 hits. Orioles 6 runs on 9 hits. Dubon goes after that fastball. Down to the count 0-2. Baker, originally drafted by the Colorado Rockies, acquired in a trade by the Blue Jays, made his debut last year with Toronto. After pitching 1 major league game last year, he's been a Blue Jay all of this season, appearing in game number 61 with Baltimore. Just a piece to stay alive. Mauricio fouling off that 0-2 pitch. Bullpen for the Astros remains dormant, so Framber will get a chance to pitch a 6th inning. He'll have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up in the 6th with 85 pitches so far through 5. Six runs scored by the Astros tonight, more runs than they had scored against Baltimore in the previous 5 games against them this season. But right now, it's not enough. Brand new ball game, tied at 6 in the 6th inning. foul and will head out of play. Astros had scored 4 runs in the previous 5 games and hadn't scored anything here in Baltimore in the first 2 games of the series until they got a 2-run home run by Jose Altuve in the 3rd. Added 4 runs in the 5th inning. Pretty good battle here for Mauricio Dubon. It's 2-2.
He's seen everything Baker has to offer. The high velocity fastball, a couple of sliders. He's even seen a changeup in this at bat. Next pitch will be the 8th pitch of this at bat.
Will pop up on the infield. Rougned Odor will put it away. Baker out of the bullpen with a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the bottom half of the 6th, all tied at 6.
Right around the corner, and you'll want to be here for all of the action. Lock in your postseason tickets by becoming a 2023 season ticket holder today, or register for your chance to win 2 tickets to an ALDS game at astros.com/postseason. TK.
All right, Julia, bottom of the 6th inning. Framber Valdez, even though it's 6-6, still has a chance to continue his quality start streak. He's allowed 3 earned runs on those 6 so far. Has to get through 6 innings as he begins with 85 pitches after 5, facing the number 8 hitter Jorge Mateo. Mateo grounded out for an RBI his last time up. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Pitch is off the plate, 2-0. Framber has allowed a season high 9 hits tonight. His career high in hits allowed is 11. That happened in the 2020 pandemic season on the road in Anaheim. That's a strike on the inside edge, 2-1. Framber's had base runners in every inning but the 3rd tonight. And this one sliced down the right field side. Tucker is going to have to play it on a couple of hops. Mateo's thinking about 2. Don't do that against Tuck, even though that throw goes by Aledmys Diaz, backed up by Alex Bregman. So that'll be a leadoff base hit for Mateo.
Good choice by Mateo. Usually not very good on the outside pitches. This one hits softly and tailing away from Tucker, but he did a good job putting himself in position again to make that strong throw. Not much of an effort by Aledmys.
Robinson Chirinos will bat. Chirinos has struck out and grounded out. Now the Astros bullpen gets moving for the first time tonight. First few pitches of the evening thrown by Phil Maton. Thought that Pena might be undergoing concussion protocol. He actually, as we hear from the Astros clubhouse, leaves with a facial abrasion and will be day to day.
Let's hope that's just the extent of it and he'll be all right.
Mateo, who leads the American League in steals with 33 on first base, and now another 2-0 count. Framber's worked behind in more counts than he has in recent starts. Framber, we mentioned, has pitched plenty of times to Chirinos as his catcher in 2019. Chirinos caught 17 games that season. Second most Fromber has had work as his battery mate Martin Maldonado, catching Fromber for the 59th time in his career. Fromber has fallen behind a 9-hitter 3-0. And that is up. Ball 4. Now, not Fromber's night tonight. He has allowed a lot of base runners. First and second, nobody out. And he'll deal with the top of the order, Cedric Mullins.
Now, there have been some hard-hit baseballs, but for the most part, a lot of soft contact and a lot of traffic. And he hasn't had that fastball to get to the ground ball to get him out of these situations.
And now a message from TXU Energy. That was the first walk allowed by Fromber Valdez tonight, to go along with the 10 base hits. You know, this has been such a driver for Fromber, this consecutive quality start streak. It's kept him so locked in start to start. You wonder, with all this traffic and all these runs being scored, and I don't even know if he knows he's only allowed 3 earned runs of the 6 so far.
I'm not sure, but he is continuing to battle. We see him behind the mound, taking that deep breath, trying to regroup and find it.
He does still have that streak intact as we speak, but it's in danger. First and second, nobody out. Cedric Mullins, the batter. And he delivers a strike. Mullins hitting a home run, a 2-run home run, made it a 5-2 Orioles lead as he sent one over the wall in right field his last time up. Just the 5th home run Fromber had allowed to a left-hand hitter in his career. And now he gets ahead of Mullins 0-2.
Good two-seamer right there. Mullins will be a tough guy to double up.
Mullins not the double play candidate, but the next 2 hitters after him, tied for the team lead in double plays. Mountcastle with 12 and Santander with 12. Trying to strike out Mullins here if he can on an 0-2 pitch. Just stays alive on the breaking ball. Actually, that was a cutter.
Yeah, a little cutter. The cutter's been good against left-handed hitters this season. We talked about that when this game got going, but I would imagine Fromber's pretty frustrated with the walk of Chirinos not having a good year statistically. And he is a definite ground ball candidate, possible double play candidate, but instead he walked him and put him on first.
No 2 pitch misses off the plate, 1-2. This is a tightrope for Dusty to kind of walk as well. You're looking at the potential to tie a major league record, but you're also trying to win a game.
And you get that pitch count getting closer to 100. We know that Fromber can go past that, but you are trying to protect this game like TK is talking about.
Fromber has thrown 100 or more pitches in 6 times in his last 7 starts. Season high in pitch count 114. That was against the A's earlier this year when he went 9 innings. Covered up by Maldonado, 2-2. Dusty Baker and Josh Miller having a conversation as they look up at the pitch count and realize Fromber's about to throw his 100th pitch of the night. We're only in the 6th inning. Fromber coming in one of the top 10 in pitches per inning, fewest. Swing and a miss, a late swing by Mullins, picking up a strikeout for Fromber. That's a half dozen strikeouts and 1 out here in the 6th.
Farmer battling back in this at bat. Just enough break on that one. A little half-hearted swing from Mullins as that ball broke away from him. There's that opportunity with the strikeout to get that ground ball. See if the Astros defense can't pick him up.
Fromber has had some extra outs out there to have to work with. Astros infield defense usually airtight, especially when Fromber pitches. Tonight they've had a couple of double play ground balls they haven't been able to turn. One resulted in no outs, the other resulted in 1 out.
Yeah, the misses tonight for Fromber have been greater than they have been in the past. Normally his misses are just moving off the outside corner, the curveball just below the zone. But we know that when you're getting 30 starts a season, you're not going to be pinpoint every single outing, even though Fromber is on one of the more incredible streaks we've seen in all of baseball. In fact, single season major league record for quality starts.
That's a base hit into right field. Around third comes the speedy Mateo. Tucker's throw is going to be late. Orioles score the 7th run of the game. And the consecutive quality start streak is over as Fromber gives up a 4th earned run tonight. Mountcastle, another base hit to right field. He's been trying to use the other way all night long against Fromber. So an incredible streak comes to a close. Fromber sets the single season mark, but this base hit gives the Orioles a 1-run lead.
This location with the fastball up, Mountcastle and these Orioles have racked up a lot of base hits, not with high exit velocities, but timely hitting in this ball game to finally get to Fromber Valdez, who had an unbelievable streak. First, a lot of Astro fans here showing appreciation for Fromber as he comes off the field.
First time since April 19th, Fromber has not had a quality start. He allowed 6 runs against the Angels that day and allows 4 earned runs, 7 overall so far here. Pitching change. Phil Mayton when we come back.
To the Baltimore Orioles, bottom of the 6th, 1 out, a couple of runners on, first and second. Phil Mayton in to try and get out of damage right here. This will be our Crawford Bach call to the bullpen, getting Phil Mayton in this game for his 63rd appearance. It's been good in his last 11. His ERA 3.62. Pitch here the other day, won an inning, had 1 strikeout, got through that inning only throwing 8 pitches.
Nobody has inherited more runners than Mayton this year for the Astros. 26 of them before tonight, so 27th and 28th runners inherited. He's only allowed 5 to score so far. He'll face Anthony Santander, turning around to hit a left-handed. Santander hit a home run right-handed his last time up to tie the game at 6. Now first and second, 1 out and a fly ball into left field. Plenty of time for Mauricio Dubon to get under it, and he'll put it away for out number 2. A reminder that the MLB postseason starts October 7th, and fans can visit MLB.com/postseason to find out how to watch. Mayton will face Adley Rutschman here. Rutschman 2 for 3 with a couple of singles against Valdez. Fromber gives up a career high tying 11 hits tonight. 7 runs, 4 earned. He is responsible for the 2 runners on base. Rutschman has been much better left-handed hitter this year than right-handed, although he has 3 right-handed hits against the Astros the last couple of nights. And fouls this one away, 0-1.
Of those 11 hits, 2 of them were home runs, which is odd also, but 9 singles by the Baltimore Orioles.
Ryan Mountcastle hit the ball to the right side 3 times tonight, every time he put the ball in play. Couple of base hits and a line out to right. Everybody in the lineup for the Orioles had a hit tonight against Fromber. With the exception of Robinson Chirinos, and Chirinos was walked.
It was the only walk of the game.
where you knew things were a little off at that point.
Well, we knew things were off early in the series,
True.
but this has just been an odd series. And then Fromber trying to fight through this game, trying to extend that quality start streak. Just frustrating.
Altuve backs up, plays it on a hop, and Rushman is thrown out. Nice job by Maton coming in out of the bullpen to strand 2 more runners. He's done a nice job all year at that. It's still a 1-run game, 7-6. The Orioles lead after 6.
Game summary. Things got off to a pretty good start with Altuve hitting a 2-run home run in the top of the 3rd inning, and then the wheels came off a little bit on an error. Usually the reliable defense behind Fromber Valdez unable to pick him up. That led to a pretty big inning, capped by a big swing by Cedric Mullins, hitting a 2-run home run as they scored 5 in the bottom of the 4th. Astros fought back with Jeremy Pena hitting a rocket into left center field for a 2 RBI double, driving in Maldonado and Altuve. Then eventually Bregman with a sac fly. Jeremy Pena tags up, heading to home, scores the run, but also injures himself on that dive as his face gets down to the earth. Bumped, bruised, abrased. He would come out of the game, and eventually after this, the Orioles would add 2 more runs. But it has been some big innings leading to this 7-6 lead for the Baltimore Orioles against the Astros as we start the top of the 7th. The Astros will face a new pitcher, Dylan Tate.
Tate appearing for the 62nd time this year, second most behind Felix Bautista. See his numbers on the year. He doesn't walk very many, just 10 walks all season long. Very good sinker as he faces Martin Maldonado and delivers a strike with that sinker at 94 miles an hour. 4th season out of the bullpen for Dylan Tate with the Orioles. He was acquired from the New York Yankees in that Zach Britton deal. He takes that pitch off the plate, 1-1. Fifth pitcher of the game for Baltimore, Dylan Tate, taking over here in the 7th inning. Orioles bullpen only needed to register 1 out in the first 2 games combined. They're looking for 15 outs tonight as the Astros have more bullpen action going. Brandon Hyde looking on in this 7-6 game. Maldonado 1 for 2 with a run scored tonight. That will be out of play. Stay 1-2. Astros have Hunter Brown warming up in their pen. Look out. Over the head of Maldonado at 94. It's 2-2.
Yeah, there's no reason for a fastball to get that far away. Glad Maldi got out of the way.
Strikes out to start the 7th inning. Tate picks up a strikeout in the first batter he faces.
Vote Jose Altuve for the 2022 Roberto Clemente Award presented by Capital One, which recognizes players who best represent the game through positive contributions on and off the field. Vote today at MLB.com/Clemente21.
Jose Altuve will be the batter. Altuve has homered and drawn a walk. He's also flied out. Scored a couple of runs. Altuve up to 94 runs on the season. And takes a pitch on the inside corner. Slider drops in there for a strike, 0-1. Altuve's home run came on a 3-0 pitch against the starter Mike Baumann in the third inning. The only other time Altuve's hit a home run on a 3-0 pitch was in 2016. It was against Mike Montgomery, who was then pitching for Seattle. So of his 190 career home runs, 2 of them have come on 3-0 pitches, including tonight. Barrel goes flying. The ground ball towards third, played by Ramon Urias. And that's 2 outs for Tate.
Time now to name that Astro, powered by Reliant. We gave you 3 clues. Weir, Science, postseason star, Fat Albert, PH Fat Albert. Who is that Astro, powered by Reliant? Wizard of Oz, Roy Oswalt. 23rd pick, 1996, from Weir, Mississippi. 2005 NLCS MVP and allowed 28 hits to Albert Pujols, most versus any pitcher. A lot of the reason for that is because he faced him the most.
Diaz taking a called strike. It's 0-1. Diaz first at bat came on after Jeremy Pena left with a facial abrasion, sliding into home plate in the 5th inning. Diaz was the DH last night. Played second base in the first game of this series. Led this down to the count 0-2. Now at the plate stays 1-2. Showed you Tate's numbers on the years with that low walk total. It's been over 2 months since he's issued a walk. July 16th, his last walk allowed. Ledmus fights off that 1-2 pitch. Orioles have scored in the last 3 innings, putting up 7 runs on Framber Valdez tonight. 4 of those 7 earned. Framber did not get through the 6th inning, and his streak of 25 consecutive quality starts coming to a close tonight in Baltimore. Still has the single season record, fell 1 short of the all-time record, crossing over multiple seasons. 1-2 pitch was not received well as they were set up inside. The pitch was outside. It's 2-2.
Good take. Wanted that 2-seamer in. It was up and away, and you can see Chirino's kind of taking it out of the zone instead of sticking it in the zone.
Now it's 3-2. Ledmus knows this guy's pretty much going to be on the plate here. We mentioned it's been over 2 months since he walked somebody. Jordan waiting on deck. He had more reason for Tate to throw a strike. And a broken bat foul.
Say with some of the oddities going on in this series for the Astros, it would be just adding on to the weirdness if Tate actually walked the Ledmus right here.
There have been some strange things happening, including a Ledmus having the ball in his glove for a long time and still got a fielder's choice. Just couldn't find it.
Guy didn't get called for the travel either.
It was somewhere in that pocket. He just couldn't grab it. Or actually in the palm of his glove. 3-2 pitch again, and this one roped, but at the third baseman. Arias makes the catch. Diaz hit it hard, but right at the Orioles third baseman. It turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning for Orioles reliever Dylan Tate. 7th inning stretch time here in Baltimore. We're going to check in our Rooms to Go lounge with Kaylee and Bogey.
For you from tonight's Chevy Stropole. We asked which team would you least like to see against the Astros in an ALDS matchup, and these Astros have been watching this series. 53% of the vote going to the Baltimore Orioles. Let's see who came in second. Toronto with 22%. That's a lot of votes for the O's, who do not have a playoff spot as of right now. TK.
All right, Julia, thanks. Yeah, that's a team right now that the Astros have beaten once so far, and they're trailing tonight 7-6 as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. You're right, the Orioles are one team that if the season ended right now wouldn't be in there, the one team that everybody cheering for the Astros most afraid of for that first round. But Hunter Brown, we get to see him work out of the bullpen for a second time, Blubber.
It's always a good time watching Hunter come out of that bullpen or just pitch in any game, but he gets an opportunity right here to make that 4th appearance. He's got a couple of starts under his belt, so this will be his 2nd appearance out of that bullpen. Has a .93 whip. Opponents overall hitting 192 against him. Last time we saw him was on the 19th. He pitched in that Tampa series. Did a great job throwing multiple innings for the Astros. Chewed up 3 innings, giving up 2 hits, walked, 3 strikeouts, threw 47 pitches in that outing.
So Hunter Brown will face the number 5 hitter here, Ramon Urias, to start the inning. 1-run game. Phil Maton did a nice job facing 2 batters, retiring 2 batters with runners on base. Kept the game at 7-6. And now Hunter Brown will try to do the same here. It'll be Urias, Austin Hayes, and Rougned Odor. 2 up for the Orioles in the 7th inning. First pitch fouled out of play. Orioles started the night 3 games behind Seattle for the final wild card spot. 4.5 games behind both Tampa Bay and Toronto.
I'll tell you what, Kansas City's trying to help the cause too. They've been playing tough against Seattle. They won yesterday and we're currently at the bottom of the, going into the top of the 8th, 5-5 tied up between Seattle and Kansas City.
Mariners are struggling to find wins even though they're in the easy part of their schedule. Toronto won tonight 3-1 against Tampa Bay. The Orioles lose the tiebreaker against both Seattle and Tampa Bay. They still have to determine who's going to win the tiebreaker between themselves and Toronto, as that season series is tied up with 3 games to go. But the Orioles are certainly making things interesting. Fans of the Rays, Jays, and Mariners were hoping that Houston could take at least 2 games in this series. They're going to need to rally tonight and win tomorrow to accomplish that, as Hunter Brown has a 1-2 count here on Urias.
There's always that possibility, and you know, I'd understand you could be frustrated with what the Orioles have done to the Astros, but the playoffs are just a whole different animal. And with the pedigree and the experience that the Astros have, you know, there's going to be some tough matchups, but I don't think anybody really is going to roll in and say, oh, we're going to beat the Astros in the playoffs. These guys are good. And if you give them ample time to prepare, adjust, set up the rotation, get healthy, whatever you want to call it, these guys are going to be ready to get after it in the postseason. This is a little bit of a rough patch, and you do worry a little bit because it's later in the season, but you and I, Julia, we talked to James Click about it. We've been around these guys long enough to know that they are incredibly resilient and know how to flip that switch, so to speak, and play some good baseball.
We've seen some good signs offensively tonight after nothing the first 2 nights.
True.
And we saw something we haven't seen since April, and that's a tough start from Framber Valdez. We haven't seen that.
Yeah, we haven't seen that literally in 5 months.
Base hit by Urias to start the inning. League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Take a look at how the Astros fare against teams that could reach the postseason. Only the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles with winning records against the Astros. The Astros still have 3 more to go against Tampa Bay after sweeping them at Tropicana Field. A 5-2 mark against the Yankees. Both the Yankees wins walk-offs. Only time the Yankees have led at any point in the season series. Right now, Cleveland with a significant lead over Chicago. The White Sox in danger of being eliminated from the AL Central, as Cleveland has a magic number of just 3. And the Astros inside the division 12-7 against the Mariners. Urias, who was scratched from the start last night due to spasms between his neck and his shoulder. Looks like he's trying to work that area out again as he rolls his neck around as they check in on Urias after that base hit. So Hunter Brown allows a base hit here to start the 7th. And it's the 12th hit for Orioles hitters tonight.
10 singles.
10 singles and a couple of home runs. Urias now 2 for 4. Doesn't look entirely comfortable, but good enough to stay in there as Austin Hayes will bat. Well, what James Click was talking about, if you missed it earlier when he joined us in the 4th inning, is we're going to see guys in different roles here get a chance to show what they can do in the final 10 days. We've already seen Hunter Brown once out of the bullpen, but if Hunter Brown is going to make a postseason roster, it's going to be as a reliever. So these outings out of the bullpen pretty important for Hunter down the stretch to try and see if he might be added to that playoff roster, as he was an extra player when rosters expanded in September.
I like the pickoff move. Make him dive back in after he's complaining about his neck. That was a veteran move by Hunter.
Now fastball for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, as good as Hunter Brown is and can be, trying to crack the rotation in the playoffs might be a little bit of a stretch. So if he's able to establish that he can come out of the bullpen, throw strikes, and be effective, that's definitely going to help his cause. And like James Click said, make those postseason bullpen decisions a little bit tougher.
A 1-pitch swing and a miss. That was nasty.
I like that pitch.
94 slider.
Yeah, from here I really like that pitch. I'm not sure I'd like it from where Austin Hayes is at right now, but at 94, being able to move that pitch away from the right-handed hitter is beautiful.
Ground ball, base hit. 0-2 pitch, single into left field. Well, the Orioles keep piling up the hits tonight. 2 singles here in the 7th inning. That's now 13 hits in the game.
That was the same pitch slider. Astros fans, scan the QR code to stay connected with your favorite team throughout the entire season. Make sure you are following AT&T Sportsnet on Twitter for game highlights, player interviews, and giveaways. Scan the QR code to follow us and keep up on the latest on the Astros all season long.
So Hunter Brown now has accumulated enough data, a minimum of 50 sliders thrown, where he is on the StatCast pitch arsenal leaderboard. And that slider, averaging 92.9 miles an hour, is the hardest slider in the American League and tied for the hardest slider in all of baseball. Wow. Jacob deGrom was at 92.7.
Oakland A's got to Jacob deGrom today.
How about the A's putting a 10 spot on the Mets today?
Yeah, it's a weird pocket in the schedule for a lot of contending teams.
Sam Coonrod, the only other pitcher that averages 92.9 on the slider. That bunt is popped up. Hunter Brown can't make the play. Yuli's going to throw to third. He had to play at second, and everybody's safe.
If you need any more evidence that things are not going the Astros way,
and the sure out at second base with Austin Hayes having to hold up at first. They try to go across the diamond to get the lead runner, and nobody makes it out on this play.
Hunter Brown laying out, trying to do his best. You could see that base runner at first base got a very late break after breaking to home, but Yuli unable to pick that up out of his peripheral.
That is going to be a base hit for Rougned Odor. And you're right, Plummer, that kind of signifies how this night has gone. 3 hits in the inning against Hunter Brown. The bases are loaded.
Another single.
Now the infield coming in with Jorge Mateo batting. Probably not going to be able to double up Mateo anyhow, even if the infield was back, and you want to cut off a run here. 7-6 in the 7th inning. This is where Hunter Brown can try and find a few strikeouts. Bases loaded, nobody out. Oh yeah, dotted up 99 at the knees, 0-2.
Hunter Brown does a great job of staying in the bottom part of that zone. First pitch was 98 at the bottom end. This at 99, catching that down and away corner. Oh, good pitch. Could have been.
Tough pitch to take, 0-2.
Great pitch by Hunter. Even though it's not called a strike, you get an idea that he has a real good command of that fastball.
3 fastballs to Mateo. And now he gets him at 99 at the bottom of the zone. Mateo has nothing to argue about. He should have been rung up the pitch before. That's out number 1.
He took 4 fastballs on the edges of the zone. He may be frustrated, but upon further review, those were 4 very good pitches.
You're going to get the battle of 2 young stars in this game, as Gunnar Henderson will be announced as a pinch hitter. And out of the dugout comes Josh Miller to have a word with Hunter Brown. You got the number 2 prospect in baseball according to MLB Pipeline, and Gunnar Henderson taking on the Astros top prospect in MLB Pipeline, Hunter Brown. This is a great matchup.
This is a good matchup. Josh Miller's just out there reminding him of that scouting report and how to attack Gunnar Henderson.
Henderson will pinch hit with the bases loaded and 1 out. He started the first 2 games of this series at third base. Didn't start tonight against the lefty Framber Valdez. Will come on as a pinch hitter here for Robinson Chirinos. This is power on power. Henderson has batted 4 times already in his young career with the bases loaded. And he's 2 for 4 with 5 runs batted in. Infield back now, hoping to turn 2 with 1 out. And time is called before Brown makes a delivery. This is a good little test, too, for Hunter in the middle of a revved up crowd and a 1-run game.
No, this will give you a little bit of that atmosphere that you're going to see in October.
Starts him off with a breaking ball down and in, 1-0.
There are positives that you can take out of that, and I think you're right, TK. This opportunity to be in this environment, try and work through some adversity, work through some traffic, face a pretty good hitter in Gunnar Henderson.
Slowly hit. Yuli is going to try to come home. They get the force out at home plate. That is out number 2 as Ramon Urias sliding into home plate after the throw made by Gurriel forces the runner for the 2nd out.
Great pitch, gets the soft contact. Fortunately, Yuli was close enough to come charging in and make that play at home plate. That was a good play by Yuli, playing in front of the runner. Able to cut that ball off, throw on the run. And Maldonado holding his ground at home plate to make sure that out. So a chance for Hunter Brown to work out of this.
That was a really nice play by Yuli. Quick transfer to get the force at home. And now Cedric Mullins bats with the bases loaded. Brown, after loading up the bases with nobody out, now has 2 outs.
This is an unorthodox play. Usually for a first baseman, you're not throwing on the run, but I think a lot of the experience at third base and the ability to make that exchange for Yuli turned that into a great play considering the situation.
Mullins swings through 98 miles an hour, 1-1. Hayes on third, Odor on second, Henderson on first with 2 outs. Foul back, 1-2. A game that hasn't always been smooth for the Astros. This would be an incredible high wire act if Hunter Brown can get out of a bases loaded, no out situation. Try and keep this at a 1-run game. And this would go potentially a long way towards trying to solidify a playoff roster spot. Pitched 3 innings on Monday as part of the clincher. The Astros beating Tampa Bay that night. Brown pitched the 6th, 7th, and 8th shutout baseball. Tonight, 3 base hits to start the inning. A strikeout and a fielder's choice. Now a 1-2 pitch coming to Mullins. In and out of the glove of Martin Maldonado. Baldy almost made that play for the final out.
I love that Maldi expects to catch these. These are extremely tough, especially when it rattles around the glove like that. But he is literally trying to do everything he can to pick his pitcher up. You've got to respect that about Maldi.
Ground ball right side. Altuve is there, and Hunter Brown has pitched around, bases loaded, and nobody out. One of the biggest tests of his young career, and he passes it to keep this game at 7-6. Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker. The Astros only down 1. First ever bobblehead. 10,000 fans will get Jeremy Pena's first bobblehead presented by Taqueria Sarandas. That'll be Saturday, October the 1st when the Astros play the Tampa Bay Rays. Find tickets at astros.com/promotions. Well, the bottom half of the 7th inning, Hunter Brown getting out of a bases loaded, no out situation. Dylan Tate still out there. A couple of changes for the Orioles. Gunnar Henderson, who pinch hit for Robinson Chirinos, remains in the game at third base. Adley Rutschman, who was the DH, will be behind the plate. So they forfeit the designated hitter. And the pitcher will be in the slot of Ramon Arias, the number 5 hitter. There's Rutschman behind the plate for Chirinos. So Yordan Alvarez will be the leadoff hitter here, facing Dylan Tate, who had a 1-2-3 7th inning. Orioles have their closer, Felix Bautista, warming up as Yordan takes a pitch off the plate for ball 1. Plummer, that kind of inning can rev up a team when it's 7-6, game on the line, and Hunter Brown pitches around, bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, he finally stopped the momentum of the Baltimore Orioles in a relatively hostile playoff type environment. You want to see how these young players react in that. Give them an opportunity in the regular season to see what it's like to be out there, control that heartbeat, throw strikes, get outs. And as much as we talked about that meaning something to the coaching staff or to James Click, who we had up here in that 4th inning, it means a lot to those guys playing behind him. Think about what that means to Martin Maldonado or a Christian Vasquez. I can give this guy a signal. He's not going to get flustered. He's going to take the baseball and execute the pitch. But if I'm playing behind a guy like Hunter Brown and I see him in a bases loaded situation, want that baseball and attack the hitters the way he did, I'm sitting there saying, okay, he's one of us. And that's a big move and a big moment for him to be able to show that in front of those 8 other guys who are playing behind him.
And he had a play there on the 3rd hit of the inning where he had to come in and slide
it out. Yeah.
Still was able to regroup and pitch through that inning. Now Jordan with a 3-1 count. And that pitch is up and away, ball 4. Jordan draws his 2nd walk of the game. He has walked 4 times the last 2 games. Julia.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. This was a big day a few years ago in 2019 because Alex Bregman hit his 40th home run. He was actually just on fire at this point last year. Hit 5 home runs over 8 games there. He became the 4th with 40 in a season, the 4th Astro to do so. He finished with 41 that year. Remember, he finished 2nd in MVP voting and All-Star, of course. Also walked 119 times, 112 at Ribby. It was a good year, TK.
Quite a year for Bregman, finishing runner-up in MVP as he fouls one back, 0-1.
No, it was a lot of fun to watch him get to that 40 home run plateau. Like Julia said, he was on fire down the stretch. Bagwell doing it 3 times, Lance Berkman doing it a couple of times, Richard Hidalgo on there. Bregman will probably get some more opportunities, obviously, to try and do it again. But I remember we were in the middle of a celebration in 2019 as the Astros clinched another Western Division title. I remember pulling him off the side, talking about how well his season's going. I go, you get to 40, you're gonna force some people to vote for you for MVP. He goes, you think so? I said, yeah. I go, you get to that 40 plateau, all of a sudden everybody's gonna have to start turning their heads, watching what you're doing. And he went after it and got it. It was a lot of fun to watch him that season.
This ball sent into left field. Caught by Austin Hayes for the 1st out. Dylan Tate actually walked a batter in this inning.
Yeah, kind of got lost in the moment right there, but that miraculous. That tells you how frightening Jordan Alvarez is. Dylan Tate, who doesn't walk anybody, actually walked him.
First walk since July 16th, and now defensive change in the middle of the inning. As going out to center field, it's going to be Ryan McKenna. And the pitcher spot is hitting right now in the lineup, so they could use a double switch here and manipulate the lineup so that the pitcher spot is where Cedric Mullins was. So Mullins will come out of this game and they'll make a double switch. Tate will leave the game and they'll go to their closer here, Felix Bautista, looking for a 5-out save. So Tate leaves after retiring 4 of the 5 batters he faces. The Orioles make a double switch. Bautista, the closer, will be on in a 7-6 game with a runner on and 1 out. He'll face Kyle Tucker when we come back.
Back here at Camden Yards, things tightening up. Top of the 8th. Jordan Alvarez at first base, 1 out in the inning. Dylan Tate is being replaced by Felix Bautista, the closer for the Baltimore Orioles. This will be his 64th appearance. Pitched in game 1 of this series. Picked up 15th save, throwing 1 out in that game. Opponents hitting 157 against Bautista. He's been fantastic for Brandon Hyde. Fastball averaging 99.2 miles an hour. He also has a slider and a splitter. Splitter can come in between 88 and 90 miles an hour. Left-handed hitters are going to see that fastball primarily 61% of the time, and it will be that split, which will be that secondary pitch.
Bautista's only blown 1 save this year. He's 15 out of 16 in save opportunities, having converted his last 13 in a row. And many of those saves in those 13 straight have been multiple inning saves. He picked up a 2-inning save against Toronto on September 6th. Tonight he'll be asked to get 5 outs as he faces Kyle Tucker here with a tying run on first base. and 1 out. Only blown save of the season came at home against the Texas Rangers on July 5th. Tucker 1 for 3 tonight. Takes a fastball down and in, ball 1.
He's been good against left-handed hitters this season. 129 is the average against, but he has given up 3 home runs to left-handed hitters.
Big rip at 100 miles an hour, and Tucker didn't get cheated on that swing. It's 1-1. Tucker has never faced Bautista before.
Good swing choice though right there. He was sitting on that fastball. Is it in the zone?
Bautista faced a lead miss Diaz in closing out the game on Thursday. Tucker reaches out and fouls off the splitter. It's 1-2. Landon High going to his closer here with 1 out in the 8th inning. Jordan Alvarez drawing a walk to start the inning. Bregman flied out to left against Dylan T. And then that splitter gets Tucker for the 2nd out.
Take a midweek break and take home a ring this Wednesday when all fans get a Yuli Gurriel AL Champion replica ring presented by Gallery Furniture. Get your tickets today at astros.com/promotions.
So Yuli will bat here looking for his first hit of this game and his first hit on the road trip. Yuli 0 for 3 tonight, lined out to center field, grounded out and flied out on a 3-0 pitch his last time up. Goes after the first one here, 100 miles an hour, and swings through at 0-1. Bautista, the 5th reliever, 6th pitcher of the game for Baltimore. Yuli has faced him 1 time and struck out. Struck out on a splitter back in August. This ball hooked down the line and left. Long run for Austin Hayes, and that ball is going to drop in fair territory. Alvarez will be held up at third base. He runs through the stop sign, and we're tied up. Jordan with a head of steam was held by Gary Pettis, and he kept going to tie the game at 7.
Big man was moving, and there was nothing going to stop him. He had his mind on one thing. He got a good jump. We talk about the jumps and the routes he takes on the base paths. Watch the read here. He understands that ball's lofted. It's going to be a long run. Austin Hayes out there to try and get to that baseball. It hits softly, and Jordan, you can see right there, just a full head of steam bolts right through home plate and that stop sign to tie this game up.
I was a little surprised he was being held because the outfielder had just gotten to the baseball as Jordan was getting to third.
I agree.
And you're not going to get many hits against Felix Bautista.
No, you got to force the issue right there. Make the defense make the play.
So we're tied at 7. Chas McCormick takes one down for ball 1. That was a huge hit for Yuli Gurriel, and it gives Felix Bautista just his 2nd blown save of the season and his 1st since July 5th. This crowd at Oriole Park at Camden Yards is stunned into silence. They rarely see this guy falter. 1-0 pitch is off the plate. 2-0. Now Chas can try and give the Astros the lead here in the 8th inning on a 2-0 count. And that one's wide at 100 miles an hour, 3-0. A guy who very rarely gives up a run, even if it's an inherited run. Gives up the double to Yuli Gurriel, and now a 3-0 count to Chas McCormick. Mauricio Dubon in the on-deck circle. Didn't have to be a strike, but it's called a strike. 3-1. Now the Astros fans giving it to Ramon, or Astros dugout giving it to Ramon de Jesus.
The game's hard enough as it is, and Batista's tough enough to face as it is. Don't need to give him a little bit extra, especially a pitch down.
And really wasn't received incredibly well either.
Nope.
Chaz fouls that one away. 3-2. Yuli Gurriel with a big double to tie the game at 7. Astros bullpen working again. Hunter Brown's night might be over after working out of that bases loaded situation. Rafael Montero loosening up in the Astros bullpen. That one over the head of the catcher. Rushman will allow Yuli to get to third on the walk to Chas McCormick. Airmailed by Bautista, putting runners on first and third with 2 outs.
Yuli lofting that one to left field. Talked about Jordan making a good decision right there. He was anticipating that ball hitting the ground. You could see him. He was picking him up and putting him down. He had one thing on his mind, and that was to test that Oriole defense in trying to throw him out from left field. Turned out to be a great decision by him, running through that stop sign. But you got a guy like Bautista out there, you finally break through with a base hit. You got to force it late in the game.
And especially when Jordan was getting to the bag as Austin Hayes was picking it up about 330 feet from home plate. This is a deep left field, and where he was picking up that baseball was well back there. There was no chance almost, even if they hit the cutoff man, there was almost no chance to get Jordan at that point.
Yeah, you're daring him to pick up and make that throw to home plate, trying to get Jordan. He's a big guy coming to home plate too. There's a lot of factors that come into that play for both the left fielder, the shortstop who's a potential relay guy, and of course Robinson Chirinos, who has that monster of a human heading to his way at 27.8 feet per second.
Now Mauricio Dubon bats with the go-ahead run at third base in this 7-7 game. Takes a fastball for a strike.
And what that does too, tying this game up and hopefully adding on too. You've got Yuli 90 feet away, potential for an error base hit, pass ball. But you get Bautista maybe out of the game. They've already run through quite a few guys out of that bullpen.
That one popped foul, and that'll be into the crowd and out of play. It's 0-2 on Dubon, who is 1 for 3 today. Dubon has never faced the big reliever Felix Bautista before. Gurriel with the game-tying double, scoring Jordan Alvarez with the tying run here in the 8th inning. First and third, 2 outs. There goes the runner. The pitch is up and in. No throw. Chas McCormick takes second base. Good idea by Chaz there. More concerned about getting the hitter. Now you take fielder's choice out of play.
Base hit potentially scores 2.
Swing and a miss. Dubon goes down on strikes. The game is tied up, though. A couple of walks in the inning and a game-tying double by Yuli Gurriel. We're knotted at 7, headed to the bottom of the 8th.
Here's a look at our T-Mobile coverage cam. Hunter Brown in a tight spot. Threw 4 pitches in the zone. Eventually got the strikeout, then some soft contact, and a great play by Yuli coming home to cut off the run. 2 outs, and then he proceeds to go out there and get Cedric Mullins to ground out to the second baseman, Jose Altuve. Young Hunter Brown in a high leverage situation kept his poise, kept his command, and worked out of a jam, having a conversation with Martin Maldonado, Justin Verlander, talking about that situation. Big growth moment for Hunter Brown heading into that month of October, and he will give way to Rafael Montero as this game is tied up there in the top of the 8th. 66th appearance, 2.30 is that ERA. He's been very good in the month of September. Fastball, great changeup, and a slider for Montero.
Wild game here. Game 3 of this 4-game series with a day game tomorrow. Rafael Montero will face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for the Orioles in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Incredible job by Hunter Brown working through the bases loaded, no out situation to keep the game close. And then Yuli Gurriel putting just the second lone save of the year on Felix Bautista. Saw first walk issued by Dylan Tate since July 16th, and then the first blown save by Felix Bautista since July 5th in the top half of that 8th inning. Now in the bottom half of the inning, it'll be Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander, and Adley Rutschman facing Montero with the game tied. First pitch fastball rides upstairs, 1-0. Astros led after 3 innings, 2-0. Orioles led after 4 innings, 5-2. Astros retook the lead with a 4-run top of the 5th inning, only to be tied up by the Orioles again on a home run by Anthony Santander. And the Orioles took the lead in the 6th inning on an RBI single by Ryan Mountcastle that knocked Framber Valdez out and killed his consecutive quality start streak. Then the Astros with a run against Felix Bautista. The run charged to Dylan Tate, who had left the game, but Bautista gave up the double to Yuli Gurriel that tied it at 7, and here we are in the bottom of the 8th. One and 2 the count to Mountcastle. Missed up with 96, 2-2. Ground ball towards left field, in between Bregman and Diaz, and Mountcastle has his 3rd hit of the night. Ryan Mountcastle, leadoff base runner for the Orioles here in the 8th. That is 15 hits for the Orioles tonight.
They're just going to single the Astros to death. 15 hits. That's 13 singles.
One of the 2 non-singles hit by Anthony Santander as he hit a home run to tie the game in the 5th inning. First pitch down and away, ball 1. Santander 2 for 4 with his 28th home run of the year. Foul at the plate, 1-1. 15 Oriole hits, 8 Astro hits. We're tied at 7 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. One and one the count to Santander. Missed the high fastball, 1-2.
Good job on Montero. Reach back, rush that fastball at the top of the zone. Got the chase well out of the zone, too.
Nobody warming up in that Orioles bullpen, so Bautista looks like he might have the 9th inning as well. That one's up, 2-2.
That'd be a good spot for that changeup for Rafael Montero.
In the air, well hit to right field. Santander has done it again. 2-run home run, his second home run of the game, and the Orioles retake the lead. It is now 9-7.
That was the changeup. It was down in the zone. Santander just did a better job of going down and getting it. It was over the middle part of the plate. It's been a night of big swings.
'29th home run of the year, is second on the night.
So that changeup stay over the middle part of the plate. Santander didn't miss it one bit. He's homered from both sides of the plate tonight.
Santander now taking over the major league lead for home runs by a switch hitter. Jose Ramirez had 28. Santander with his 28th and 29th tonight. He homered from both sides of the plate earlier this month against Toronto as well on September 5th. It's the third time Santander has hit a home run left-handed and right-handed in the same game this year. Second time this month. 0-2 the count on Adley Rutschman. So Felix Bautista will get a second chance to try and save this game. It's not often you can get a blown save and a save in the same game.
Yeah, that's for real.
Astros fans are hoping for 2 blown saves in the same game. Oh, 2 the count to Rutschman. Down and in, 1-2. Now with 16 hits on the night, 3 home runs and 13 singles. That pitch just misses the zone, 2-2. Orioles doing this damage against the best pitching staff in the American League. To the count. Rutschman strikes out on a 3-2 fastball. Montero picks up his first out of the inning. Astros now with 8 strikeouts on the night, 6 by Framber, 1 by Hunter Brown, and Montero picks up his first. Ramon Urias will bat. Check that. This is Ryan McKenna. McKenna gets his first at bat. Urias was lifted. Gunnar Henderson pinch hit for Robinson Chirinos, and Urias was taken out of the lineup. So McKenna bats for the first time. This is part of a double switch when Cedric Mullins left the game. McKenna comes in quite often for Brandon Hyde defensively, now batting for the first time. Bat is shattered. Yuli Gurriel will play it on a hop and tag McKenna. Barrel of the bat goes beyond the pitcher's mound, and that's the second out of the inning. Astros in the ninth will have their number 9 hitter Martin Maldonado due up in the top of the order. Trey Mancini would be an option to pinch hit off the bench tonight. Didn't start for the first time in this series against his former team, as this one's fouled out of play 0-1. Montero getting ahead 1-2. First 4 games of this series between the Orioles and the Astros, a total of 12 runs had been scored. A couple of 3-1 games and a 2-0 game. Last night the Orioles shut out the Astros 6-0. Well, 18 runs over the first 5 games and then 16 combined tonight. Off the plate 2-2. Austin Hayes has reached, every time he has batted, officially 2 for 4, 2 singles and 2 fielder's choices. Well off the plate, the count goes full.
Amazing stretch that the Orioles are on, starting with the Astros. You've got 4 at Boston, 3 at New York, and finish right here at home against Toronto.
That one's popped up, playable for Yuli Gurriel in foul territory, and that will end the inning. But Anthony Santander with a big 2-run home run to give the Orioles a 9-7 lead. And Felix Bautista will get a second opportunity to try and get a save. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Fubo TV. Stream the Astros on AT&T Sportsnet with Fubo TV. Visit FuboTV.com for a free trial. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. We go to the 9th. Astros need a couple of runs to keep this game alive. Bautista does not have a chance to pick up a save. He would pick up a win if the Orioles hold on to win. He blew the save in the 9th. So Christian Vasquez will be the first batter he faces. Vasquez will pinch hit for Martin Maldonado here in the 9th inning. Astros down by 2. Astros have battled back down by 3 earlier tonight. Then they were down by 1 in the 8th inning facing Bautista, who blew just his 2nd save of the season. Now they need 2 runs in the 9th, and he picks up a strike on that pitch on the outside corner. 0-1. Vasquez, Jose Altuve, Aledmys Diaz, the hitters due up. If it gets beyond Diaz, Yordan Alvarez will bat. Astros being out hit 16-8 as Vasquez goes after a 100-mile-an-hour pitch that was up. It's 0-2. Wild night tonight here in Baltimore. 24 hits and 16 runs combined.
Not much going on offensively in the first 2 games. Some close ball games, good pitching matchups, and then all of a sudden we got madness tonight all throughout the game.
Vasquez loops one into right field. That's going to be down for a hit. And the Astros will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning. Christian Vasquez, a pinch single for Martin Maldonado to start the inning.
It's our all-state mayhem moment. Back in the 5th inning, Alex Bregman lofted a fly ball into foul territory with Jeremy Pena on the base pass. He decided to tag up and beat the throw home from Santander. Stuck the landing and landed on that right shoulder, and that is how he obtained that facial abrasion that took him out of the game. That's why Aledmys Diaz is now standing on deck. But a great job by Vasquez to get that base hit, get this inning going with a base runner on base. That's the idea of get the base runner on base, turn this lineup over, and let some good things happen for the Astros.
Vasquez faced Bautista earlier this year when he was with the Red Sox and singled against him. Now he bounces one in there, does Bautista, and Jose Altuve takes it for ball 1.
Pretty good job by Rutschman to knock that down.
Altuve, who has a home run tonight, representing the tying run in this game. The Astros scoring a run which was charged at Dylan Tate last inning. Counted as a blown save against Felix Bautista, who now tries to pick up a win as his team scored him 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's 2-0 to Altuve. Bautista, who has been nearly perfect for the Orioles so far this season, struggling a little bit tonight. He allowed a double and a walk last inning. Did pick up a couple of strikeouts. Now a hit and a 2-0 count to Altuve. 3-0, missed with 100 miles an hour. We got Aledmys Diaz behind Altuve, and then Yordan Alvarez behind Aledmys. It was the 2nd longest active save streak in the major leagues before the Astros tied the game in the 8th against Bautista. Up and in, ball 4, 4-pitch walk, putting the tying runs on base with nobody out in the 9th inning. And Aledmys Diaz, the batter.
There's really nothing for Jose Altuve to offer at.
Aledmys likes the fastball.
He can hunt a heater.
We have never seen a fastball that Aledmys doesn't like, whether it's 100, 101.
Yeah, we haven't found that velocity yet that can get by Aledmys.
Goes after the splitter, pops one up. Actually, it was a fastball, pops it up to center field. Kind of reached down for it. That's why I thought it might be the splitter, but he.
Yeah, it was down out of the zone. You're right.
So after a 4-pitch walk, Aledmus goes down and reaches out and flies out to center field for the first out.
Still got a guy coming to the plate with a couple of runners on that can do some serious damage.
Yordan Alvarez, two of the biggest guys in all of baseball.
Yeah, this is, yeah, if we're in the NBA, this is a battle down in the paint. Large humans with extra abilities as far as velocity out of the arm and velocity off the bat.
Throws him a splitter to start the at-bat, 0-1. Throws him another splitter. Yordan down to the count, 0-2. Leadoff single by Vasquez, a 4-pitch walk to Altuve. Aledmus Diaz flied out on the first pitch of the inning. They see the Orioles bullpen double barrel action here, but more than likely they'll stay with Batista in this situation. Yordan, line drive, single into right field. Down for a hit. Vasquez being held up. Bases are loaded with 1 out in a 9-7 game in the 9th. Alvarez with an 0-2 pitch, singles to right.
Such a good piece of hitting by Yordan Alvarez. No panic at the plate. Batista didn't want to throw that fastball. Eventually threw a split that he was able to handle. Goes out and gets it, rakes it into right field. Astros going station to station.
Now Altuve, the tying run, is on second base with 1 out, and Alex Bregman the batter. Bregman 0 for 2 with a sac fly and a walk tonight. Bregman, slow ground ball towards third. Gunnar Henderson makes the play to second. The return throw not in time. Run scores. It's now 9-8 on the fielder's choice. Altuve, the tying run, moves to third.
It's all right. Alex hustling, staying out of the double play, extending this inning. And you give Kyle Tucker an opportunity.
Kyle Tucker will bat. Tying run on third base, go ahead run on first. 2 outs in the 9th. Tucker facing Bautista for the first time. Actually struck out against him earlier tonight. That was the first time he faced him. He struck him out on a 1-2 pitch as he gets ahead of him 0-1.
Yeah, but it just takes one. We saw that he has a very good split, but even with 2 strikes to Yordan Alvarez, he got a hittable split. But he started Kyle Tucker with that fastball. Eventually got him with the split.
Mariners winning their game in Kansas City tonight. The Orioles trying to stay 3 games behind the Mariners for the final wild card spot. That splitter with a runner on third base can be a little daunting too. Tucker 1 for 4 with a single, his first time up tonight.
That is tough right there. Fight off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside corner.
Batista has thrown 32 pitches tonight. Tucker hooks one into right field. That broke down into the wall. 2 Altuve scores the tying run. Bregman is going to be held up. We're tied up at 9. The Astros get another 2 runs against Felix Bautista, who has been brilliant out of the Orioles bullpen this year.
That was the one. It was a hanging split. Tuck able to stay back. He did a great job of fighting off the previous pitch at 100 miles on the inside corner. This is a split that stays on the plate. And Kyle gets around it, smothers it into right field, and he ties this thing up. What a game. Great at bat by Kyle Tucker.
27 pitches, the previous high this season for Felix Bautista. He throws 33 pitches tonight. And that last one, a double by Kyle Tucker to tie the game. Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker provide the RBIs for the Astros as we are now tied up in the 9th inning. New pitcher when we come back. Runners on second and third and 2 outs. Crazy game tonight in Baltimore. Astros have tied it up with 2 runs in the 9th inning against Felix Bautista. Now the new pitcher, Jake Reed.
Yeah, it's been a wild night here in Baltimore. Day game tomorrow. Astros extending this by getting to Bautista 2 times. Now they have a chance to get to Jake Reed. Pitching with 3 different teams this season in 15 games, has a 6.32 ERA, even though opponents are hitting .224 against him.
Yuli has a huge hit already in this game as Yuli doubled in the tying run in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Yuli doubled home Yordan Alvarez. Now Alex Bregman on third. Kyle Tucker, who tied the game with the Astros down to their final out in this game. Yuli goes the other way. That's going to be a squirter. It gets through. 1 run scores. Here comes Tucker. He is going to be safe at home plate. 2 RBI single, Yuli Gurriel, and the Astros lead this crazy game 11-9.
La Pina coming through in the clutch. Drop shot to left in the previous inning. This one just pushed the other way past the outreach Rougned Odor. Fighting it off, finding the open space. Kyle Tucker off with 2 outs, scores easily. This has been absolutely incredible.
Felix Bautista coming in was brilliant all year for the Orioles. 13 consecutive saves. The Astros got a run against him in the 8th, and now they get 4 runs charged to his line here in the 9th inning, down 9-7. Going into the 9th, they tie it up with 2 outs on a hit by Kyle Tucker. And now they push across the go-ahead runs on a 2-out base hit by Yuli Gurriel. 11-9 Astros. Chaz McCormick now bats. This crowd of 22,546 is stunned. Bautista had only allowed 2 runs in an outing all year as his high water mark, and tonight he gives up 5. Now a balk as Reed has the ball dislodged from his hand as he hit his leg on the delivery, and that means Gurriel can trot into scoring position.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Astros fans started a little chant here in Baltimore, and Camden Yards crowd not real thrilled with that.
That's a funky delivery for Jake Reed. That was an unsuccessful attempt at it.
Well, Chaz fouls, or actually, I thought
he hit his foot.
Why did he start running? He fooled me.
I have no idea. This is an interesting game, to say the least.
Chaz being Chaz. He started running. Like, didn't that hit you? All right.
Hey, you get another chance if you foul it off your foot.
Plummer, what a crazy game.
Baseball is amazing, isn't it?
All right, let's take a look at Chaz, how he fools us. Foul ball off of Chaz, and let's go run.
Maybe he thought it was going to give him a chance at a base hit. I don't know.
0-2 pitch hit in the air to right field, playable. for Santander. We're going to head to the bottom of the ninth. Ryan Presley's been warming. Astros lead 11-9 with a 4-run ninth. Presley on in the bottom half. To the bottom half of the ninth inning. Astros lead 11-9, and they'll turn it over to Ryan Presley.
Took a while to get here, but Ryan Presley is loose and in the game, making his 46th appearance. 30 of 34 in save opportunities. 2.91 is his ERA. 57 strikeouts and 10 walks is a very good ratio. Again, Presley picked up that 30th save on the 21st in Tampa. Did so throwing 21 pitches. Opportunity right now to close out one of the crazier games we've seen this season.
Astros tied it up with 2 outs in the 8th inning on a Yuli Gurriel double. Yordan Alvarez running through a stop sign to tie the game at 7. Then they were down to their final out in the 9th inning when Kyle Tucker doubled home the tying run at 9. Yuli Gurriel followed that up with a 2-out, 2 RBI base hit to give the Astros an 11-9 lead. Yuli had been 0 for 17 on the road trip, but his last 2 at-bats, 2 of the biggest on this trip. And now it's up to Ryan Presley facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Rougned Odor takes a pitch down and in, ball 1. It'll be Odor, Jorge Mateo, and then Gunnar Henderson. If it gets beyond that, the pitcher spot will be due up. Jesus Aguilar on their bench. They have Kyle Stowers on their bench. Odor drills one deep to right field, and this game continues to be wacky. That's one on to the pavilion out there above the out-of-town scoreboard. Odor hits a home run against Presley to make it 11-10.
He thought he tied it up. Got a fastball in and launched it. Still an opportunity for Presley to pick up this save. That will get the Orioles 1 run closer.
Jorge Mateo bats. It's now a 1-run game. The 17th hit of the night allowed by Astros pitching. That is the 4th home run of the night for the Orioles. They hit 2 against Framber Valdez. Rafael Montero allowed a home run, 2-run shot in the 8th, and now Ryan Presley a solo home run in the 9th. Ground ball, 1 hopper to Alex Bregman. He makes the play on Mateo. That's 1 out in the 9th inning.
Rougned laying into that fastball. Full 104-foot shot. Solo job makes that score 11-10.
More highlights in this one game than the previous 5 games between these 2 teams combined.
Absolutely. It's been mayhem.
$18 runs scored the first 5 games combined and 21 runs scored tonight. 0-1 to Henderson, who bounced into a fielder's choice as a pinch hitter. A big spot there in that game. The Orioles led 7-6 and were threatening for more with the bases loaded and 1 out when Henderson grounded out to Yuli Gurriel, who threw home for the fielder's choice. There's going to be Stowers, the pinch hitter, on deck for the pitcher spot. They forfeited the DH in this game with Adley Rutschman moving from DH to catcher. There's a strike, 1-2. Swing and a miss. Presley picks up a strikeout. 2 outs in the inning. And the Astros 1 out away from a huge come from behind victory.
Did a good job of keeping Henderson off balance. Gets the wave and miss.
Christian Vasquez is catching this inning. As he came on as a pinch hitter, Vasquez has probably caught a lot more against the Baltimore Orioles this year than Martin Maldonado.
He has some experience with these hitters. I'm sure he offers a lot of value in those pitcher meetings.
Kyle Stowers takes one down for a ball. Stowers pinch hitting here for the pitcher spot. Mariners were tied in their game late and scored a run in Kansas City to win it 6-5. The Orioles were leading for much of the night tonight and had Felix Bautista come in for a 5-out save. He had a blown save in the 8th and then couldn't convert his own victory in the 9th after his team scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th, as the Astros got 4 runs against the Orioles closer. Stowers goes too far, and now Presley with a 1-2 count with 2 outs in the 9th. Fly ball left field playable. Mauricio Dubon will come in and make the catch, and that will do it. The Astros win their 100th game on the season. They become the first team in American League history to have 4 100-win seasons in 5 full season stretch. Dusty Baker becomes the 4th manager to win 100 games as an American League and a National League manager. Plummer, this was a crazy win.
TK, I'm just glad you and I survived this thing. There was a lot going on, a lot of action. But we've seen this team fight, and they get to 100 with fighting against the Baltimore Orioles. Not much, like you said, those previous 5 games, but today had everything, and the Astros are victorious.
100 wins, 50 on the road, 3rd time in franchise history that's happened. A lot to digest and a lot to talk about tonight with Kaylee Griffin and Brian Bogusevic, as the Astros post-game show presented by Whataburger will be right around the corner. Dusty Baker joins Whitey Herzog, Sparky Anderson, and Tony La Russa as managers in the American League and National League with 100-win seasons. Post-game show coming up next.